Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Brock Beard from lastcar.info. Welcome to a very special show tonight during this first off weekend as the Olympics kick off in Paris. We're going to start off with a watch-along, first one we've done in a little while here. This will be the 1998 Pepsi 400 at Daytona, the first ever night race at the Daytona International Speedway. Big thanks. I believe it was you, Desert Fox, that suggested it here. So good idea. We'll go ahead and jump into it. I do apologize. I shaved my mustache a little too close here. So a little bit of a different look here. That was not intentional, despite this being a throwback to, I believe I was freshman in high school when this race happened. So this will be an interesting throwback here. We're going to jump into the race here in just a moment. As everybody kind of filters in, I thought it would be kind of fun to provide some extra context to this. First and foremost, we're going to be using the NASCAR Classics version here. Big thanks to the folks over there, once again, for preserving such amazing recordings of these races and making them available to all of us. If you have not checked out classics.nascar.com, if you do not have that bookmarked on your browser, you absolutely should, because there's tremendous stuff there. They're adding it every day, and highly recommended there for sure. So that will be where we will be watching the race here in just a moment. Yeah, I think what we're going to go ahead and do is, again, kind of lead in with some stories. What I decided to do kind of leading into this was I watched the qualifying session for this race earlier today and did a little bit of research on some other storylines to kind of build into this. I have no doubt that a lot of these are covered very well in the broadcast themselves here. I probably haven't watched this race flag to flag since it happened. I've seen clips from it, but since then. So this will be a fun one to check out here. So join me in the time machine as we go back to October 17th, 1998. Now, you may be wondering, why was the Pepsi 400 in October? Well, that year, there were a series of wildfires in Central Florida. It was going to be the week after the Sears Point race, the scene of Jeff Gordon taking the point lead from Jeremy Mayfield after winning his first race at Sears Point. The same one where Jerry Nadeau did the bonsai move into turn 2 back when he was driving for Elliott Marina Motorsports. There have been multiple driver and team changes in the delays since, where the race had to be postponed because of the wildfires, moved to October. Now, the problematic thing with that was not only was it going to be one of the very last races of a 33-race season, very close, I believe less than a month before the season finale at Atlanta back then, but it was going to be back-to-back super speedway races. Now, you may not think too much about that after this year, where we had both the Daytona 500 and then the Atlanta super speedway race with that dramatic finish earlier this year. But this was definitely a factor, I would say, in the championship battle that was developing. Despite Jeff Gordon's utter dominance in the 1998 season, there were actually 6 different winners in the 6 short track races that year. Jeff Gordon was only, one among those winners. In fact, a couple weeks before this event, you had Ricky Rudd winning the famous race that was chronicled again on the NASCAR Scene Vault podcast recently, where Rudd was exhausted after his air conditioning unit failed in the opening laps and pulled off a win, which was in his 16th consecutive season with at least one Cup victory. Again, one of the latest additions to the NASCAR Hall of Fame this year had just happened at that time. The race right before, two races before this event, was the race at Charlotte, the fall event there, where Derek Cope, bringing out the 1998 shirt here, Derek Cope earned his first and only career pole at Charlotte in that race, but Mark Martin pulled off the win. Martin was having a career season that year. That was the 7th win of his Cup career. However, after that event, he was still 174 points behind Gordon, this under the old Bob Latford system, when you would gain about 150 points in one race at most if you won and led the most laps, versus the last place person finishing in 43rd place with 34 points. It was a very interesting time then, despite, again, I know it's much more remembered for Gordon's dominance, but things had definitely changed quite a bit throughout that year. We had back-to-back super speedway races. We had Talladega the week before this event. That was a pretty clean race with one major exception. A very serious accident in turn one in the closing stages. Ernie Irvan was injured in that event, did not participate in the race you're about to see tonight. Ricky Craven took over for him in the 36. Irvan had a savage hit back when he was driving the Wildberry car for Wildberry Skittles car for MB2 Motorsports, involved in a bad crash over there in turn one. This was not the accident that ended his career. He did return to competition in 1999, the first year that M&M's was really the primary sponsor for, well, I guess not, well, yeah, there was the Skittles car in 98, and then, yeah, M&M's more into 99 into 2000 there. So a lot of different driver changes that happened around this time. Jerry Nadeau had already left the Elliott Marino team, moved over to the Melling program. There's other team changes that you'll notice here at the same time. A lot of special paint schemes you'll see in this race as well. This is back when, again, you had full season sponsors that would cover the entire year. The first that was immediately produced as a result of the events that led to this race's rescheduling was a special scheme to honor the firefighters that fought the wildfires that year. John Andretti's paint scheme had like this purple and dark red colored scheme. It was run at Talladega the previous week. He ran it at Daytona as well, as a salute to those who fought the fires there. Andretti was the second driver out to qualify, attempt to qualify for this race. Of the 48 drivers that were competing for 43 spots, one of the other, the first person that was on the track was actually Dale Earnhardt, who, of course, that same year won the Daytona 500. He would not drive that same car in this race because, of course, that one was in Daytona, USA at the time, including the Lucky Penny that was still on the dashboard there. So he had a different car out there. Other drivers trying to run new cars, of course, Ricky Craven in place for Irvan after the big accident. Wally Dallenbach, who was driving in place of Ricky Craven, driving the number 50 car for Hendrick Motorsports, the renumbered 25 team over at the Hendrick team that year, because, of course, this was the 1998 season, also known as NASCAR's 50th anniversary season, which was a big story throughout that. It's interesting, yeah, we could have very easily had this race on the 4th of July. It was already planned to be a night race before. Earnhardt actually did some ceremonial laps around the track back in February in preparation for the 500, so that built a lot of anticipation for this. If you get a chance to watch the qualifying footage from it on YouTube, it's very exciting because there's a very large crowd that was there to witness history as the drivers attempted to qualify for that race at the same time. By this point in the race, there were in the season rather, both the manufacturer and the Rookie of the Year battles were very close. Ford and Chevrolet were almost tied at the top of the point standings, again because of Jeff Gordon and Mark Martin being so dominant that year. Dale Jarrett was third, but a pretty distant third at this point of the season. It was almost certainly a two-car championship, and Gordon was on the verge of running away with it. So you'll see how that plays out certainly in this race. Kenny Irwin Jr., back when he was driving for Robert Yates Racing, was the leader in the Rookie of the Year standings. Jerry Nadeau had been working up there trying to stay in contention with him, but Kevin LePage, after he got a ride over at Roush, leaving the Joe Falk team, was on a late season surge. He was involved in an accident at Talladega, and his car had to be completely rebuilt for this race, which is no small accomplishment because it was less than a week later. A lot of teams had to do that. Michael Waltrip's team also had to fix up his Sitco Ford for the Wood brothers. So you had a lot of teams that were, struggling just as much as these drivers to have to contend with the challenges of back-to-back super speedway racing in the closing weeks of the 1998 season. Speaking of the Talladega race, again, Kenny Schrader was the pole sitter in that race. His first pole in, I believe, a season back to New Hampshire in 97. This was back when he was driving for Andy Petrie Racing in the Skoal Chevrolet. Schrader famously had a serious injury in the Twin 125s, broke his sternum, I believe, in that one. Still managed to finish that race, without a relief driver in the 500, the same one that Earnhardt won. I believe he's running the same car in this one. In the qualifying footage, it said that he was not running his Talladega car because it only finished 24th in the Talladega race after winning the pole. He got shaken out of the front pack there very early in that event. Mike Skinner had led the most laps in that event at Talladega. Still looking for his first win, driving the number 31 in the second Richard Childress entry. Dave Marcus was very good in that race at Talladega, finished 12th despite damage to his fender. Marcus also entered in this race. The winner of that Talladega race, however, was Dale Jarrett. This one was a Noble 5 race, a lot of discussion about crown jewel events. This was back when you would finish top 5 in one of 5 races from the season, and you'd be eligible for the $1 million bonus if you won the next of those 5 races. And Talladega, I believe, was the last one of that year. This race you're seeing tonight is not one of those. But Jarrett pulled off the $1 million win in that event. There were actually 49 drivers that were entered for this race. I said 48 earlier. 48 took time. A 49th entry driven by one Randall Ritter, an ARCA driver, was forced to withdraw after technical inspection. The car failed inspection, was not able to meet the tolerances, and they had to withdraw the entry. I'm not sure what his car number was, but it was mentioned in the ESPN broadcast, as well as articles online about this. But the remaining 48 drivers did attempt to qualify. We'll kind of go through some of those storylines here, too. Among the drivers throughout the field that did make the show, Jeff Green, who back then was driving a 3rd entry for Felix Sabata's number 46, the Money Store entry. This at the time was Jeff Green's first ever Cup start at Daytona. Steve Grissom was driving for Buzz McCall in the Caterpillar entry. This was not the Ward Burton entry. This was the number 96 Caterpillar Chevrolet. This is when Caterpillar got into the sport before they went over to Bill Davis Racing. Grissom had come over from the number 41 car that he had driven the previous couple of seasons, the Larry Hedrick Motorsports Kodiak Chevrolet, who attempted to qualify this car in this race, well, none other than Rick Wilson in one of his last ever attempts. Rick Wilson famously runner-up to Bill Elliott at Daytona back in 1988, as well as driving in place of Richard Petty after the 1992 season. By this point, he was almost completely out of the Cup Series there, having one of the many veterans having trouble finding rides, but that was the situation there too. Darrell Waltrip attempted to qualify for this race. This is the old Tabasco fiasco you will see here tonight as well. The number 35 car really struggled at Talladega. Waltrip in the qualifying broadcast said that the team just beat the hell out of it to get the car back out there and try to get the best run it could. But a lot of struggles that both he and the Tabasco team had during a very tumultuous season where Todd Bodine started the year, and they really had trouble actually qualifying for the races too. Steve Park is in this event, subject of the documentary that FS1 just did recently. This is back during Park's rookie season in that same battle with Kevin LePage and Jerry Nadeau and Kenny Irwin. Park had injured himself earlier in the year in Atlanta and was trying to come back during that season. In this race, according to the qualifying broadcast, he was struggling coming into this event and actually put in a favor with Dale Earnhardt to put an RCR engine in the DEI number 1. So that will be quite a story in here too. This race was also the debut. We mentioned Andy Petrie Racing earlier. This is the debut of their second entry. When Hut Strickland was driving the number 55, this was a car that was being staged for Kenny Wallace in the 1999 season. Wallace brought Square D over from the Fillmore Racing number 81. Wallace barely qualified for this event, driving the number 81 entry. He did make the race in second round qualifying. The first round was Thursday night before the race, and the second round was Friday morning. Kenny Wallace did qualify for the race. We'll talk a bit more about who missed the show here in a little bit. What's also interesting with this event, especially as being the last super speedway race, this is one of the last attempts of the Ford Thunderbird. You think back to 1998, the Ford Taurus was the dominant car that had just been brought in that year. The new model with a lot of controversy behind it. There's a great video out there about what Cranifus and others were being in, I believe Don Miller was involved in the development of that car, modifying a four-wheel car into the two-door series there. There were 5 Thunderbirds that still attempted to qualify for this race among the Tauruses. These were driven by Rich Bickle, Jimmy Spencer, Chad Little, Billy Standridge, and Dick Trickle. A lot of throwbacks in that name there, too. And 4 of those 5 Thunderbirds qualified for this race. The one that did not was Dick Trickle. So, unfortunately, no Junie Donlavey injury in this one. When he was driving the Helig Myers Ford there, he was one of the 4 drivers that missed the show. Billy Standridge, this was his 5th straight super speedway race he qualified for. He built the car in August of 1997 and qualified for all 4 super speedway races in 98, plus the fall Talladega race in 97, about 2 months after he finished building the car. Standridge just made a few starts. That was the majority of his Cup career. He was much more of a long-term Busch Series driver, what's today, of course, the Xfinity Series. But Standridge qualified the car in the first round. Another driver that will ring a bell amongst, speaking of the Xfinity Series today, this will be the only Cup Series start for one Dan Pardis of Florida. Dan, of course, the father of current Xfinity Series part-timer Preston Pardis. This was back when the number 07, the Midwest Transit Racing car, was the fastest car in second round qualifying. It was going to be very close when in first round looked like he was going to maybe be one of the 5 sent home, but he's still qualified for the event. And what you will see in this broadcast as well is his only Cup Series start. Of course, much more notable in the Goodies Dash Series and some Busch Series starts as well in Dan's career. The DNQs for this race, there were 5 teams that did miss the show. Mentioned Dick Trickle a second ago. Rick Mast missed the show driving for the Butch Mock team. He was the last car to qualify in the first round, was not able to make the show. Rick Wilson, I mentioned him in the 41 car, the Larry Hedrick entry, he missed the show. Robert Presley drove a Ford Thunderbird at Talladega, did not drive it in this race. He switched to a Taurus and missed the show in the number 77, the Doug Bowell entry, the Jasper Engines machine. And another familiar face from this channel here, Gary Bradbury, attempted this race. Unfortunately, did not make the show in the Jim Wilson, number 78, the Pilot Travel Centers car. Now, I haven't mentioned who won the pole for this race, and it may or may not come as a surprise here. Bobby Labonte was on a absolute dominant stretch in the super speedway portion of the 98 season. He and his brother Terry swept the front row for the Daytona 500. Terry won at Talladega the previous fall. Bobby won at Talladega in the spring. It's actually kind of amazing that neither of them really won in the fall Talladega race because they were both very fast in that race as well. But Bobby Labonte wins the pole in this. He's running one of the first movie promotion cars that was running in the Cup Series at the time. I don't know how many of you remember the movie Small Soldiers. I believe Tommy Lee Jones was starring in that. A kind of a robot chicken action figure movie there. I think it got panned by critics pretty good back then, but they put a ton of money into promoting it back then. So that will be a very different look to the Interstate Batteries Pontiac that you will see. He was running, again, on the pole in the same car that he ran in the previous 3 super speedway races, and that will be one to watch. And last but not least in this storyline here, who broadcast this race? CBS, of course, had a very long history of broadcasting races from Daytona, especially the Daytona 500. They would broadcast the 500 all the way through the 2000 season until Fox took over in that famous 2001 race. This race was going to be on CBS. However, on the exact same day that this race was postponed to was Game 1 of the World Series, which was being shown on Fox at the time. Therefore, CBS went to one of their sister networks, the Nashville network, TNN, which had covered a portion of the season. They usually did races like Dover and Rockingham and those events, but this is a very rare treat. This is Eli Gold and their crew doing the play-by-play for this race. This race had actually been on ESPN the previous year, so things were already kind of shaking up a bit more. ESPN would kind of do the summer race, I believe, more often in that period there. But then, so it's going to be kind of an interesting experience from there. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it here, folks. Let me get this brought up. I'm going to make sure the volume's higher. I think we should have a better chance of that compared to our Daytona one here. So I'll make sure the audio's good. Definitely let me know in the chat if you have any questions. I'm just going to kind of do a watch along with you guys. If you have any questions about this, we can definitely jump into that. I don't know if I'll start and stop the video through here. We may just kind of play it on through, but I hope you guys enjoy. And let me switch over to our second screen here. Where is the race watch along one? There it is. All righty. And we'll make sure everybody can hear. I'm going to have to turn the volume up here on this. Hopefully it doesn't blow out my microphone, but we'll give this a try here. I have to turn this up. I had it a little higher earlier, and it was gonna kind of blow out the opening of this, and I didn't want to do that. Alrighty, we'll go ahead and start, and we'll just get this going.
The Pepsi 400, a July 4th holiday tradition, moved to October due to Florida's midsummer wildfires. But tonight, with a state-of-the-art lighting system illuminating the night sky, there is a holiday feel to Daytona International Speedway, as we are just 12 minutes away from the green flag.
Is the volume okay, everyone?
Hello, everybody, and
I can hear it pretty good
welcome
on my
to the
end.
World Center of Racing. Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, and Buddy Baker. You know, ever since this race was postponed back in July, everybody's been looking to this stretch of the schedule. Unprecedented 2 restrictor plate races back-to-back. Last week, lap 137, a major accident at Talladega. Some teams have been able to rebuild their cars. Others have junked them. They're starting over. You know the story of Ernie Irvan. He hasn't been in the car much, but he's here ready to go racing tonight with Ricky Craven having done all the work this weekend. Last weekend, the Thunderbirds were a story.
Oh, Irvan in the
there
show.
were 5
Okay.
of them. 2 finished in the top 10. 4 T-Birds going racing tonight. And everybody's run here at Daytona. Experience isn't a problem, but it is something new under the lights and the shadows and all of the glare that maybe or maybe not could be a storyline as this evening continues. And Buddy Baker, that's where you come in. 19 top 5s here. You've won a couple of races here. Is everybody starting at square one again, or does experience matter?
I think experience matters when you go to Daytona or Talladega. You have to know how to drive. But one thing to keep in mind, there are so many questions that hadn't been answered. Nobody's actually run 400 miles under the lights here. They're going to have little things that happen in this race that they've never experienced.
It is, though, an electric atmosphere. Have you ever experienced anything like it, Dick Berggren?
Nothing like this, and this is restrictor
A little bit
plate
louder?
racing.
Okay,
You talk
let's
about
do it.
some drama. Listen to this. Last year there were
How's that?
4 restrictor plate races, 4 different winners. This year so far, 3 restrictor plate races, 3 different winners.
This
How
race
about
was-
upsets?
I
in the
mean,
last 4 years
you get the
here in
sense of
this
it, but
event,
this was
there
so
have been
hype at the
2
time.
first-time
goodness.
winners.
And as you see the fireworks going off here at Daytona, an interesting factor in the garage. So many of the teams have gone back to the Daytona 500 setups because the temperature outside right now, fellas, probably within 7 or 8 degrees of what we normally experience here during many of the February runnings. Not at all like a July Pepsi 400.
Eli, you're exactly right. And I talked to Larry McReynolds. He said, I want to tell you, Mike Skinner is starting with exactly the same thing that the car in the museum over here has from Dale Earnhardt when he won the 500.
Of course, the car in the museum, we're speaking of Daytona, USA,
Look at
the
the
ultimate
crowd, my
motorsports
goodness.
attraction right next door, which always puts on display the winning car from each year's Daytona 500. Guys, just look at that. What a view. Collectively in this booth, we've probably got far more visits to Daytona than any of us would like to admit. We all had darker hair or hair when we first came here.
Ah, you
And
got it.
this is just a spectacular evening.
I mean, if ever I was going to run another competitive lap, it would want to be right here. I've never made a competitive lap around this racetrack at night. I would love to try it one time.
I was just thinking that if Big Bill Sr. is really up there looking down, he'll have no problem finding his racetrack this evening. He built this place, opened it first in 1959.
Grandstands on the
He would not be
backstretch.
proud to see this event being staged this evening.
Needless to say, not a seat to be had. Long since sold out. Heck, here on Bud Pole qualifying the other day, we had a crowd larger than many Daytona 500s of not that many years ago. The
just
engines
electric.
have fired. We are set to go racing, and so honored to be with you on TNN Motorsports for Daytona at the speed of lights. They light it up as they go green in a moment.
Just an interesting aside here, the Musco lighting, there was a great segment on it in the qualifying broadcast saying that it was like, I don't know how many thousands of cars, if they turned on all their brights at the same time, or enough lights that would light an entire neighborhood block from Daytona to the Musco headquarters. I believe it was in Ohio. Just an unprecedented effort. We take advantage of it today, take it for granted, but this was revolutionary at the time.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this 40th renewal of the Pepsi 400. On the Bud pole, Bobby Labonte has won 3 of 4 restrictor plate poles here in 1998. Jeff Burton, his best restrictor plate finish, is 5th in the 98 Daytona 500. Dale Jarrett and Terry Labonte sharing row number
Underrated
2.
starting
Couple of
grid
big
format
track
the TNN
veterans.
had back
Of course,
then.
Dale Earnhardt, who won here in February.
Show the
and Mark
sponsors,
Martin
show
with
everything.
7 wins in 1998. Rusty Wallace was quickest, actually second fastest in happy hour
there,
here
NASCAR man.
yesterday.
Thanks for tuning in,
and
man.
Jeff Gordon with 2 Daytona wins, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series point leader. Mike Skinner led the most laps at Talladega a weekend ago. And the first start for Hutch Strickland, driving the second car for Andy Petrie Racing. The leading rookie of this year is Kenny Irwin, and Ward Burton is alongside in row number 6. A former winner here, the 1990 Daytona 500 winner Derek Cope, and John Andretti, who won this race a year ago. Steve Park and Ken Schrader share row number 8. Kenny Schrader, he was on the bug pole just 1 weekend ago at Talladega. Look at those flash bulbs just illuminating further this Daytona International Speedway. Sterling Marlin, and give a call to Billy Standridge, guys. He comes to the big tracks, not a full-time runner. He's always in the field.
You're exactly right, and he's doing a Thunderbird, and the rules are really not that
in
good
the second
for the
Petrie car
Thunderbird.
debut for that team. Andy Hillenberg from Rise
Dan
of the Field
Pardis on the right of
show.
your screen, a local Daytona favorite in his first NASCAR Winston Cup race. He comes from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series. Joe Nemechek and Kenny Wallace sharing the 27th and 28th starting positions. Michael Waltrip and Dave Marcus, who a week ago had his best finish since Bristol in 1994.
He had a Childress engine then. He has a Childress engine now. He could be very strong tonight.
Jeff Green in the show.
There you see Jerry Nadeau and Ted Musgrave, 33rd and 34th starters. Wally Dallenbach, he was fast last night in practice, and Rich Bickle in a restrictor plate race. He's missed the other ones this year. There's Jimmy Spencer's T-Bird. Doesn't qualify well, but he might be coming to the front, so he says. Good to see Ernie Irvin. And Johnny Benson had a little problem here last night in happy hour.
The hood blew off that thing in happy hour, damaged the back end of that car. They worked on it, fixed the roof, put a new hood on it, and got him back out in time for happy hour to finish.
And there you see the 43rd starter, Darrell Waltrip, Franklin, Tennessee, as this field gets set to go green. The first time ever under the lights. The Pepsi 400 for the first time ever on TNN. It is just an amazing view from any angle. You know how dedicated the fellows were from Musco Lighting to get this project right? They went through the Richard Petty Driving School to better understand the lights that are required for super speedway racing. That's what you call dedication. Now let's take a look and see what it looks like from the driver's point of view. Wally Dallenbach.
They renumbered the Hendrick 25 car to the 50 for the 50th anniversary.
What kind of feedback you hearing about that, buddy? And you've driven out here.
Well, you know, we're talking about the shadows off the cars as you see against the wall there. Right down on the outside of the wall there, there's a little shadow there. But nothing like the daytime when you're squinting with the sun in your face going into turn 1. I think the visibility is much better tonight than it is anytime during the daytime.
That's what everybody is saying. You know, it's amazing how well you can see. Look how bright it is from Steve Park's ride.
Again, Park with a Richard Childress engine and a DEI car.
Let's see, 180 on the water.
See what he can do in this. Derek Cope ahead of him.
Jeff Gordon climbing the banking here at Daytona International Speedway. All he's got to do is finish 16th or better in the remaining races. And the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship is his. From just down the street a piece, Mark Martin lives here in Daytona Beach, as so many of you know. He's tried his hardest this year to hang right there with
kudos
Jeff
to
Gordon.
NASCAR Classics.
And there you see Bobby
NASCAR.com.
Labonte, our
Definitely support those guys.
getting set to take the green.
That's what
in this
very
first race, such a historic occasion. And you know, NASCAR racing has had so many historical happenings over the last number of years, whether it's new racetracks, new faces, new events. But this really, I think, takes the cake.
Well, everybody's been waiting for this thing for really all year long, and people have been very patient with what happened here on the 4th of July weekend, and the flashbulbs are going as the cars go by the grandstand, and everybody's ready for this thing to happen. Big night.
Those who didn't qualify for this event, Gary Bradbury, Rick Mast, Robert Presley, tough break for Dick Trickle. After the problems of a week ago, they brought a Thunderbird here, but it couldn't qualify, and Rick Wilson. But you know, you look back, Names like Fireball Roberts, A.J. Foyt, they have won here. Donnie Allison, Bobby Isaacs, Sam McQuagg, Neil Bonnet,
glad you're joining, Benjamin.
Leroy Yarbrough, Davey Allison.
Fox with the call
this
on this.
racetrack just chock full of history.
You guys have any suggestions to other races to stream? Definitely let me know in the chat.
Under the lights. We'll put you right there at that top of the list.
Eli, one thing, you can
Irvin
travel
back in the
anywhere
36,
in the world,
drop into the
and
tail
they'll
end of
ask
the
you,
field.
first question, you say a Winston Cup race, they say, have you won at Daytona?
Okay, get ready. Pace car is in.
Strap in, folks. Glad you're with us on TNN Motorsports. Enjoy the evening. Here we go.
Rick Wilson was in the Larry Hedrick Kodiak car there, James. Didn't qualify for the race.
Good scramble up front. Here goes Jarrett, the winner last week at Talladega with drafting help from Earnhardt. He'll swing to the inside of Bobby Labonte in turn 3.
Bobby Labonte about a mile an hour faster in qualifying. Still gets his doors blown off.
And they head down the front straightaway. He's making his presence known right now, leading into best place on super speedways.
13th top 5 start of the year for Dale Jarrett as you ride with Steve Park.
Burton on the high line, just dropping back.
Steve Park with rookie
Jeff
stripes.
Gordon riding in 12th.
Got somebody going wow in the background.
Here goes Earnhardt to the front. The winner of the Daytona 500 back in February. He takes the lead.
And Bobby Labonte drops in the second there with Rusty Wallace.
Kenny Irwin coming up 5th on the inside. Derek
And
Cope behind him.
big tracks, Jarrett has to work to try and get back in line and still hasn't.
Dale Jarrett got hung out to dry. You can see he's drifted back to about 7th place now on the outside.
Well, this is Earnhardt's 41st Daytona start. This is the 34th time he has led. He has led almost every race he has ever run here.
He is the winningest driver at this racetrack. Took
5
that
car
title
breakaway.
over
Rusty Wallace having a good run in
from the
third.
great road racer Hurley Haywood a few years ago. When you count the Busch Series races, the IROC races, the Gatorade 125s, no one has been more successful here than Dale Earnhardt.
Derek Cope was so fast to the 500 that year before an incident on pit road. He's looking good again.
Side by side. Jeff Gordon would love to be up there where they're running nose to tail right now and not have to contend with the car directly on the right side of him.
That double file running starts in 9th. Park in the 1, Jarrett the 88, the 24 of Gordon. That's 9th on back.
Hearing there was no problem with Jeff Burton's car, just took him a while to get going.
Here comes Bobby Labonte on the outside, making a move on
Gibbs car
Earnhardt.
has power.
Rusty's trying to figure who he wants to run with right now. He drops down with the 3 car there.
Get the side
Earnhardt
draft.
as they go down the back straightaway. Mike Skinner makes it 3.
No
4,
yellow line.
5
Use
cars
all of it.
down into the corner.
3 wide behind them. All of this on lap number 4. When it sorts out, Earnhardt still has the lead, and there goes Labonte, lucky to get back in line in 5th.
They were so spread out back there, dust got kicked up from underneath Gordon's rear tires.
Yep, Eric, yep, this is the same team that Johnny Benson drove for.
There. You can see he's now
Pennzoil went to the number 1, so they ran the gum out scheme. The associate on Benson's car was the sponsor for Cope.
That's traffic jams.
But Burton's still on that high side, still going nowhere with it.
And look at the 30 of Derek Cope. He has broken away from the 2x2 and has stalked this front single file track.
Cope could be a threat tonight. He really could. Now, he has run incredibly well. He's finished on the lead lap twice this year. It's the last 2 races. They have gotten their act together in a hurry.
See these guys running. Look at
Cope working on Gordon.
That's showing power there. He's moving up on Jeff Gordon as he come off turn 4.
It's like Spencer at the back of the pack there, one of the Thunderbirds.
Cope riding just ahead. He's in 7th. That's that black number 30. Then Gordon and Steve Park and Jarrett.
Sterling Marlin, one of the early silver
looking
bullet
backwards
runs.
towards Sterling Marlin, a brand new car after the problems of a weekend ago, and he's still in the middle of the pack, guys.
And that 55 car, Hut Strickland making his presence known there as he's moving up in the 55 car.
That's incredible. Hut Strickland doing such a job here. An essentially brand new team running as well as he is.
There's Billy Standridge outside of Brett Bodine.
22 Ward Burton. That team gets the sponsorship from Caterpillar next year.
Dan Pardis right behind
MBNA
Standridge.
moves on to Joe Gibbs Racing for Busch Series cars and for Corey McLenithan's NHRA machine.
Yep, Eli Gold, Buddy Baker, Dr. Dick Bergeron in the booth.
6 laps complete.
Eli, it looks like the
Rusty, is
outside
that
group
Schrader to the
starting
outside of
work.
Rusty?
These guys are starting to move around.
No,
back
it's Bobby.
there. All single file. Now you see the 28 car, Kenny Owen Jr. kind of called out on the inside as Gordon and all the guys are moving to the outside. Steve Parks trying to get by him on
Skinner
the outside.
leapfrogging a third, but he's about to get past. Cope is coming.
Boy, what an awesome shot that is. You think this place isn't lit up perfectly? Bobby Labonte's now moved his way into third place. Mike Skinner has nobody there to help him.
Oh,
Here
Cope
comes
getting
Cope
aggressive.
on the outside, Eli.
Derek Cope trying to make a bid for 5th.
Yeah, Cope is, I forgot he was this good in this race. I remember he was good the 500.
By his lonesome down low.
Fresh off his
He's got
first
a lot of
pole.
horsepower in that race car, though. He's holding his own with Bobby Labonte, and you see he has nobody directly behind him to help him drive.
Well, Skinner went to school last week at Talladega. He led the most laps and wound up 7th when it was all done and over with. Got shuffled back by some of his friends, and he says he has a few
Irwin and
debts to
Jarrett
repay
link
this
up.
evening.
Yates car is coming.
Boy, Gordon's caught on the outside in the 24 there. He's dropping back some.
Field now working back towards the start-finish line. Meanwhile,
Oh,
Wally
Dallenbach
Dallenbach
with
has
issues.
problems.
Flat left front.
Wally Dallenbach with that flat left front.
300 turn 3 right now, Tony.
Their
So
last
Wally
change.
makes what has to be one of the longest rides in motorsports.
Get it back out.
That's a brand new car for
The one thing
Dallenbach.
he
He's
has
not
to
sure
worry
exactly
about
what
that tire coming
that car is
apart,
going to
knocking
do.
the inner panels out of the car.
We are 9 laps in to the Pepsi 400. Daytona at the speed of light is live on TNN.
Derek Cope P5. Fantastic.
Welcome back, everybody, live at the World
Cope's
Center
still
of
up there.
Racing.
See if he's going to help Bobby or not.
Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. The battle you're watching there is
Ooh,
fourth
Dallenbach
and
getting a
fifth
lap
spot.
down.
You see Wally Dallenbach. He has gotten the new Goodyears on, but he is going a lap down, as you see right there.
Derek Cope is driving a very aggressive race. He
Doing
is not
good,
leaving
AJ
much room
RC
between himself
fan.
and some of
Welcome
those
to
other
chat.
cars so far.
Hope you guys
so
are enjoying
good.
it. This thing is thrilling.
Eli, we have to mention this. There is a threat of rain around the speedway here. You see these guys right now, though, they're going
Yeah,
at it.
threat of rain
They could
even in
care
the
less
pass?
at the moment about anything except trying to get
Or
that
things
great
change.
track position. You see the 2 car there, Rusty Wallace trying the inside and outside. Nobody went with him. He jumped right back in behind Earnhardt. Nose to tail again.
Let's check in on pit road now and get an update on some other stories developing.
Well, guys, I'll tell you what, Bobby Labonte's doing a great job right now staying up
Glenn
in the top
Jarrett
4
on
for
pit
one
road.
simple reason. He can't hear on his radio. There's a lot of bleed over coming. You'll never guess the reason what they figured out was causing it. Bobby's son, Tyler, picked up one of the team radios and was playing with it, talking into it. We got caution coming out.
And caution is coming out for some rain showers.
Oh, no.
Very, very light, but rain showers nevertheless. And
Who
it's
brought the
something you don't
storm cloud
mess
with him?
at 200 miles
Into
an
the
hour.
time machine here.
So, caution on the speedway for the first time. It'll be coming out here at lap number 13 of the Pepsi
Still in
400.
Standridge and Pardis in the top 20.
Well, one
having
thing's for
fantastic
sure, we've
runs.
had a very light appetizer right here of racing, and it's spectacular.
Sure is. We had rain here last night as well during
Right.
the happy hour session. Delayed it for well over an hour. It was amazing the number of fans who sat in here with, I
Which
guess
4
what you would
drivers
call
in
high
Thunderbirds,
fashion
Michael?
at Daytona for the showers.
Standridge,
Garbage bags that
Chad Little,
stretched to the ankles were in vogue
Rich
last week.
Bickle.
The rain stopped. They got the
Standridge,
15 minutes of the
Little,
half hour they
Bickle.
hoped that they were going to get of that, and it just poured again.
Spencer
Tonight
was the
we're not
fourth one.
supposed to have any big
There was
rain.
also Dick
Just a little
Trickle, but he
shower
missed the
maybe.
show.
So caution on the speedway here at the World Center of Racing. TNN Motorsports live coverage of Daytona at the speed of light. The Pepsi 400 continues in a moment. Let's go back to 1983. Terry Labonte had the 1983 Firecracker 400 in his sights when with 2 laps to go, his hopes fizzled. Out of gas, Labonte would drift back to 5th, and Buddy Baker would coast to victory after running out of gas as well on the final lap. It would prove to be Buddy Baker's final Winston Cup victory, and look how well he handles the champagne, folks.
It won't do anything. Ah, boy.
Flunked out of Champagne 101, did you?
What do you expect on my last super speedway win?
Let's go downstairs. There's been a driver change. Mike Hogwood has the story. Mike?
Ricky Craven now in the 36 machine. Ernie Irvan has climbed out. Ernie, first of all, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. It's a shame to have to get out, but we're running that in the back right there. Hopefully Ricky can take it to the front.
What can you tell us about this racetrack, Daytona?
Beautiful paint scheme, the Wildberry car.
I don't know. Right now it's
wild.
It's lit up really good.
Love the number font.
There's no problem with under the lights, but nobody has any experience it. So right now we just have to play it by ear.
Ernie Irvan out for the night.
Good to see Ernie here, though, and he'll look ahead
Rusty's
to
still
Phoenix
in a Ford
and
in
to
this one.
Rockingham. Both races you'll be seeing right here on TNN Motorsports.
Who's asking that? Benjamin.
Darrell Waltrip in the Tabasco car.
Rusty was in a Dodge Solo 3.
Several of the cars back in the field, come back in, took on extra fuel, got new tires. They're going out there and try to make this a 2 pit stop race.
Jimmy Spencer, we talked about him in the opening. There is that No Bull Thunderbird. He started near the back. He's up to 25th
You get a good comparison
right
of the Thunderbird versus the
Another
Taurus
guy
shape.
we need to talk about also.
Mayfield's
Let's not
there
leave
behind
Ken Schrader out of the equation.
There you go.
Because Schrader, who was last weekend's Bud Pole winner, is also working his way to the front. He is now 10th in that line of traffic that you see on the screen. He's moved up from his 16th starting spot. There's the man of the hour.
Oh, look at that. The reflective strips on the roof, too.
To this moment. And this caution flag now set to wrap up. Just the lightest of rain
I
shower.
remember the
that
2000 version better with
across
bright fluorescent accents on
the
it.
Daytona
This one's not bad either.
Speedway.
A little crazy, though.
Running behind Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace. Hard to imagine considering Rusty Wallace an underdog, but here we really do. In 30 starts here at Daytona, he's got a grand total of 1 top 5. In 30 starts at Talladega, the other restrictor plate track, 1 top 5.
Rodney Wise with the green flag.
Oh, great jump by Earnhardt and Rusty. Irwin a little bit further back. Single file restarts and Dallenbach. What on earth are you doing?
That's Wally Dallenbach trying to use whatever he
Getting
can
a big
after making
run.
his
Trying to
pit
get one of
stop.
his laps back.
Weaving his way through traffic. There's Wally giving us the bird's eye view.
He's flying.
What he
He's
did,
going to
he
dust Gordon.
anticipated the start there and got him a great run. And when you get by the flag, you can do what you please.
Of course, he is 2 laps down right now, Dallenbach is, after the tire problem that brought him to pit road at lap 9.
Look how much return on investment
Mike,
the
it's tough when
sponsors
you got to
get.
make a pit
Mentioned
stop
even
that
in the
early in the
leaderboard.
day, because Dallenbach now further drifting back as they scramble all around him on the racetrack.
Tony Furr, the crew chief for the 50 team, we're just getting some information on it, fell off the pit wall when Wally Dallenbach came up pit road. They think he has a broken leg. They have taken him to the infield care center. Randy Thornton will be in charge here in the 50 pits for the rest of the night.
Oh, brother. Of course, Tony was the winning crew chief here a year ago for John Andretti when he picked up the win in the Pepsi 400 for Cale Yarborough Motorsports.
Why does this feel better than modern racing, Faven 3-2-1? Part of it's the personalities of the cars, but it's also the presentation. Presentation is wonderful.
Hang in there with Park's drafting help in the 1.
Well, you can see Cope moved to the inside. Here's Steve Park pulling up, trying to get in the draft there, but when he dropped weight to the inside there, you see Jeff Gordon got a little bit of a run on him as they started off to turn 4 there.
How rough this track was before the repave in 2011.
Coming off turn 4.
Outside.
Park qualified with a Richard Childress engine. They had one available for this race this evening, but chose to go with their own, and they have had engine trouble the last 3 races
Oh,
in
they
a
didn't
row.
run the RCR
I guess they've
engine.
decided it's
Interesting.
all squared away now. They got their own stuff under their own hood.
There we go.
There you see the spread from the
Surprising,
first
he
pack
qualified
back
well
to
with
the
the
second.
RCR engine.
It is just a tick under 1 second.
Eli, they need to get single file and run that front bunch down.
And
If they
Dreddy
build
with a
up
big run here on
edge
Jarrett.
This could really hurt these guys as far as track position as they run side by side. It slows them down.
And for the folks who are new to the sport,
Oh,
buddy,
I
we
always
should
like the
mention that
MBNA car,
there is a
Bowser.
distinct difference
Caterpillar car is beautiful,
between what we saw at
but
Talladega
I always
and
had a
what
soft
you see
spot
at
for the
Daytona.
MBNA
tracks,
car.
yes, they look alike, but they're not.
Especially the
One is
black over
narrower
silver,
here.
or the 95
Handling is a
version.
difference, and you will see more packs of traffic here.
Silver
won't
one's
you?
not bad,
Exactly.
though. I'll give you that.
33-degree banking in Talladega, 31 degrees here. Just a little less banking, a little narrower here. And it comes to a point, and when you start wearing the tires down, that you actually need handling here, where Talladega, you just run it wide open
Ricky
all
Rudd
day
back
long.
in 33rd.
Here you have to really put yourself in great position.
They do 35th.
And that was one of the great questions in the garage this morning. Do you go for handling, try to
Look
make
at
the
the
car
ride height,
easier
too.
to drive, or do you make the car squat down more
No
on
help
the
now,
racetrack?
no help.
It's faster when it squats down, but it's harder to hang on to. And the majority of crew chiefs I spoke with this morning said
Still outside,
they are going
still
for
there.
handling.
And you heard Park get the worst news you can get on a big track. No help.
Ball right up outside, man. We're hung a little bit right here.
And you can
Hold your
see
best,
Dale
hold your
Jarrett
line.
going by. He looked like he's running 15 miles an hour faster as he starts to go by there. No help on this racetrack means steady movement to the rear.
But it doesn't mean the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I'm trying to remember the
Last
name of the
week,
Steve
Bobby
Park
Hamilton
documentary, but yeah, it was
started
very good.
37th, got
Very
up to
good.
5th. Then he went
I
from
think it was just posted on
41st
NASCAR's channel
to
like
5th
last month.
later in the day, so you just have to be patient.
Well, Steve Park, you know, is starting out. He's getting a
They're a
lot of
five-car
experience
breakaway
on the
again.
major speedways, but right now he's hung out by himself. Everybody else is single file now. And they're
Hardest
really
back to
getting going.
28th.
There's your top 5. 6th is Jeff Gordon. Steve Burns is in his pit.
Yeah, Eli, and even though he's 6th, he's very happy with his race car just before the last
Steve
car, or
Burns,
the first
goodness.
caution rather. He told Ray Evernham, this car is running great, and I really love to run it on the bottom. And also, Dick, to follow up on your point about handling, this track is more critical on handling than Talladega. One of the crew chiefs told me they just don't get quite the same grip on this racetrack as they do at Talladega.
There's Billy
Standridge
Standridge, one
with
of the Ford
problems.
Thunderbirds in
Oh,
the field.
no.
Having problems off the pace, as you can clearly see in turn 3.
Last change.
A couple of laps ago, you'll see what happened to Billy Standridge. Watch that.
Ooh, look out, Pardis.
Dan Pardis there in the 07 about got him.
Pardis did a good job.
So Billy Standridge in for an unscheduled stop here on lap number 20. Dale Earnhardt continues to lead. But we are still early, just 21 laps complete.
And I believe that was Standridge's last Cup Series start, at least in the
There
points
you
race.
see Steve Park as we welcome you back live to Daytona, now in 32nd and about to go to 33rd and potentially 34th. But yes, as always, there is a reason why. Watch this turn 4 a few laps ago.
Steve Park on the bottom side, Mark Martin on the outside. Watch the back end of the car as it gets loose. The luckiest man in Florida to continue and not wreck that race car. The back
Spencer
end
didn't
is
run him
way
over.
out there.
And now back live with Steve Park. He's in 32nd. You see just to your left there, the nose of Ricky Rudd's Tide Ride. And there is Ricky out, set to go by. Johnny Benson will go by. Rich Bickle running there as well. And remember before, the spotter said, Steve, no help. Hasn't gotten any better. Still no help drafting-wise, and they'll finally get back in line.
That'll take a little bit of work on the chassis when he makes his first pit stop. I imagine right now he's just real happy he's still in the race. And they
Unfortunately,
can't adjust on
engine
this car. It's not
problems
all
for
crumpled up.
Standridge. This would be his final start, his 23rd
There's Ricky Rudd.
and
started
final Cup
41st,
Series start, although
now
he did
running,
attempt
as you see,
the
in
99
33rd.
500, I believe. Qualified
Johnny
for
Benson
5
right
straight
behind
super
him has those
speedways.
Betty Crocker colors on the car. They were to have run those sponsorship colors here in July. And in this instance, it carried over.
Gosh, Rich
Of course, a lot
Bickle's
of the
car
teams
looks
didn't
so
have that luxury.
rad.
A
But
lot of
I
teams
love
had
the Tide
special
Ride. But
sponsorships tied
Golden
to
Apple
things that
Valley
were
cars are
happening in
great.
midsummer. Baseball teams and so on and so forth. And those sponsor packages just have to be put to the side.
This so much looks like a daylight race until you look over the top of the wall and you see, in fact, it is night. This thing is so beautifully lit.
The top 12 have now broken away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, but it's going to double up
we
here.
got a
As
pack
you see
there
Gordon
about
looking
sixth
to the
place.
outside as they come off turn 4. They're not really happy. They want to get up there, get those 5
How much
bonus
it broke the
points.
pack
Right
up.
now,
That's
I'm
great.
sure Jeff Gordon would love to lead a lap if he could possibly get up there. But right now, he really don't have that much help. You see Bobby Labonte, or is that that's
That'll be Derek Cope right behind him.
Craven is up to
Right behind
17th
him.
after taking
Right now
over
they're
for
running
Irvin.
side by side,
Great
and the leaders
job.
are moving away.
The front 12, though, even with this double file
Reminiscent of
running, are
Yaley
still
taking
4.5
over for Stewart at
seconds
the-
ahead of 13th place
This race
Jeff
in
Burke
2008.
and the rest of those cars behind him. Hey, there's Schrader in the 33. And he's up to 7th as you ride with Jeff Gordon
Yep,
now.
Benson's in the red Betty Crocker car there, Charles.
4th here in the Daytona 500 in February.
Boy, look at Jeff Gordon. Everybody thinks it's a ride in the park. He's working that steering wheel. He knows that draft is so
Dolenbach
very
climbs out of last
important to
place.
stay in.
Standridge back
But he's
there.
up on that steering wheel. Through the tri-oval. Watch his hand movement here. Back and forth. Trying to walk that tight wire as he goes through the dog leg there.
Kenny Irwin in 3rd spot, doing a great job.
Super run for him.
Yes, tragically, Billy Standridge passed away in
Of course,
2014.
last weekend, the day ended early.
Again, tremendous career,
With engine
making those
problems.
5 straight super
And he's
speedways.
very much in it. Now watch this. 4 seconds until that group of cars right there. Well, they've peeled back, and look who's leading that next pack.
Spencer's
Talked about
Thunderbird.
the old T-Bird, Jimmy Spencer.
Look at Ricky Craven in the 36, running right with Mark Martin. I'm sure Ricky Craven realizes this may have a lot to do with
It's
what
Kenny
he
Wallace
does
in the
and
81
what
there.
later on. He's
Phil
gonna give her
Martucci's
a
square
hard
D
time.
entry.
And with the driver change replacing Ernie Irvin, they did not lose a lap. So Ricky's very much on the lead lap at 15. Let's check back into Glenn Jarrett.
Hey guys, when Steve Park had his trouble, I had a feeling there might be a reason for him getting so loose on the racetrack. I came down and talked to Felipe Lopez, the crew chief. He is big time loose. He cannot stay in the accelerator. The back end wants to come around. They're talking about making an air pressure adjustment, some wedge, anything they can do to try to tighten the car up. They're just asking him to hang on right now.
That's a handful at this
Just
point.
running by
Yeah, no
himself
fun
now.
trying to hang on at 190 miles an hour at Daytona with all these cars riding around it.
Of course.
Oh, loose by himself.
That's really
Yeah.
bad.
And his last lap was down to 183 miles an hour compared to Earnhardt and those in the lead
Three.
draft running 188.
Just love
So
that
a
Eli
5
Gold
mile an hour
pronounces that.
difference. You'll find yourself falling
wow.
way
Full
behind
pack
and getting
way ahead of
lapped
him.
before you know it.
But you wonder about courage. Remember, this guy got hurt at Atlanta this year. He was also hurt at Homestead. He's hanging right in there despite all that.
30 of 160 laps are complete here at Daytona. Dale Earnhardt took the lead at lap number 2.
Yep, 4.
After Jarrett led the first lap. You see 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th
Well,
on
3
your
left
screen.
now, yeah. 4 of them in the race.
Derek Pope in
5
that
on the
30
entry
is
list.
giving
And
it
Dick
a heck
Trickle
of a
missed the
ride.
show.
Here's that. He's on the bottom side of the racetrack, and up on top side there, you can see them all trying to get back. Hope on the outside as Dale Jarrett pulls.
Which
even
paint
moving
scheme's
down
your
through the
favorite
crowd.
here? Definitely mention in the chat which paint scheme
Talking
is your
to Doug
favorite.
Hewitt, crew chief on that Derek Pope car. He said, no, we've gone through like 17 wrecks already this year. It has just been a remarkable number.
Well, they've also been through some tough times of just not being fast and just not being competitive, but they have worked incredibly hard over the last month or so, been to the wind tunnel, done a lot of work with
Jeff and
engines,
Brett Bodine
and
there.
it is paying off well.
29th and 30th.
43 started, 42
Oh, here we go.
on the back straightaway. Going in turn number 3.
Big mess. Oh my goodness. Jeff's in it.
26.
Jeff Green's in it. Strickland.
Hutch Strickland in the 55.
Bickle in the 98, Green in the 46. Caution. Second time.
Oh, yep. I remember
That is
Jeff
Kevin
LePage was in
LePage
this.
in the Prime Star machine.
Man, oh man.
He's coming out.
Little
So,
fire.
See Kevin moving.
I got Bickle too. Got Mikey.
Rolling on the ground to be sure all the
Wow.
fire's not on him.
Wow.
And caution. A multi-car accident.
Jeff Green.
98 Bickle, Green, Hutch Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved. Clearly we saw LePage.
There's
Here
Musgrave.
comes Ted Musgrave.
tremendous amount of damage to all these cars. Look at the right front corner of Musgrave's car as he slides into the pits.
Yeah, back when you could still fix it on pit road or try to. Jeff Bodine in it. He trashed a car in Talladega the previous race.
He has not, of course, as a former Daytona 500 winner, not had good news of late. Knows now that he won't be in that car next year. Michael Waltrip will be.
He's really got no ride lined up to replace this one either.
Michael Waltrip.
There's Michael. A lot of damage to the Wood Brothers car.
Wood Brothers winningest car owners here at Daytona. They thought they were going to have a great night tonight.
Damage on these.
Jeff Green,
Jeff Green,
tremendous amount
first
of damage
Daytona
to the
start.
left front corner of his car.
Bickles doesn't look as bad, but it's such a boxy Thunderbird. It's hard to tell. Oh, he's trying to get in the garage, looks like.
And again, there's the Hut Strickland car. You see the net is down, and he's moving around.
Look at that tire. That come off the right rear of Michael Waltrip's car. What do you fix there? Everything's torn up so badly, they'll just have to make pieces to make that thing. It's wrapped around the rear end housing. You see them snatching on that rubber there trying to get it off.
Oh, dragging pieces and parts.
Meanwhile, all the leaders will come in for pit stops. Lap number 33 will be pit stops for all the leaders.
Chaotic pit road here. You got to bring everybody in.
And Rusty Wallace brings his car in. Guys, he has done a great job so far. Been glued right to Dale Earnhardt's bumper since the race began, running in second place. He reports the car is just a little bit loose. So in this 4-tire change, they're going to make an air pressure adjustment, try to tighten him up just a little bit. Here's Mike.
Dale Earnhardt has said virtually nothing here in the first part of this race. 4 tires and fuel. That's it for the leader, Dale Earnhardt.
All of these stops under caution, lap 33.
It looked like Rusty Wallace may have won the war on pit stops there. He leaves Dale Earnhardt off pit road.
Kyle Petty in the grass.
That's the same car Rusty Wallace had last week at Talladega. They repaired it.
That Hamilton with the first pit stall, despite not being the pole setter.
Right now under caution here at Daytona.
Or the defending champion. Just different rules back then.
Glenn, good work by that Robin
Michael's still limping on the apron.
Boy, and just as you said that, Eli, Robin looked at me and had a big smile and winked at me. I mean, they beat Dale Earnhardt out by maybe 2.5, 3 seconds. That might have been one of the best pit stops I've ever seen these guys do, and they have done some great ones. Came at a great time, got Rusty out in the lead. Tell you, he's got a fast race car.
When we come back to the World Center of Racing, we'll take a look at all that's gone on. Michael Waltrip's going to have to come back in again. You saw the big 21 up on the black flag board. We are back with you here at the World Center of Racing under caution. The Pepsi 400 under
all right,
the
we got
lights
110 people in here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in.
Ever live right here on
just
CNN
under the second caution of
the race leader, Rusty
400.
Wallace. Rusty Wallace has led only 96 laps in 43 restrictor plate races coming into this evening's event. Has been an empty plate, hasn't it? Meanwhile, down on the pit lane, Steve Burns checking on some other good runners. Steve?
Hey, Eli, Kenny Irwin has a very fast race car, but they had a little bit of a problem on the last pit stop. They wanted to make some adjustments. Look at here. They taped every one of their pit stops, and the crew was just over here moments ago seeing where they had a little bit of a problem. They did make some air adjustments on the tires, took some tape off the front grille. So again, Kenny Irwin is very happy with this race car. In fact, Eli, they've been trying to keep him calmed down.
Kenny Irwin running 7th right now.
There you go.
Still learning how to communicate with the crew and tell them what that car really needs. Jeff Bodine, he's down near the care center with Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, Buckshot's not in this race, AJMRC, but he was in Talladega.
Kevin said he just lost a car, got sideways off too, and we all started running into each other. If Goodyear could make a tire that didn't smoke, we could see where the wrecks were. Might be able to miss him, but I just couldn't see where anybody was. My spotters tried to help me, but the Phillips car tried to make a hole through there, but we hit somebody and put us out.
Tough break for you as you wind down with this team.
We had a great car tonight. It was handling great, and we're just trying to get through that pack. And
doubtful Bobby Labonte.
But what a night here at Daytona. History's being made. Wish I was out there.
And Jeff Bodine will not be part of it the rest of the night.
Tough break for Jeff in his 501st career start. You know, a lot of the drivers talk about the big one, referring to the multi-car crashes at Talladega and here at Daytona. Over the weekend, we've been asking a few of the drivers their thoughts about how do you avoid the big one.
I really didn't mind the Tauruses
Nothing
too
you do
much.
about it.
2000
You're just
version
out
was
there
better,
riding,
though.
You know, I mean, you're cruising along. You could be leading. You're cruising along. You could be running dead last, and you could be involved in something. And so it's kind of, I mean, it kind of happens enough, or happens. It happens where to the point I think you just understand it. You know, I think it's like, well, here it is, or there it isn't.
You know, you're always in a avoidance mode or survival mode, even if you're already, already had some kind of impact. You're still trying to drive the car. You're still trying to slide it into control, from out of control into control.
9 times out of 10, everything is fine, but it's that one time when, a little something happens, just a misjudgment of the apron or of where another car is, and all of a sudden you're in it. About that time, you're just thinking, man, I hope I get through this. And if you don't get through it, you just hold on tight, and it seems like it takes forever.
Well, he manages to get on through it and held on tight. Jeff Gordon currently running in 5th. Rusty Wallace is the leader. Bobby Labonte is
Perfect
2nd.
volume.
Dale
Okay,
Earnhardt
good,
3rd.
good.
Dale Jarrett 4th. Gordon is 5th. Skinner is 6th. Irwin is 7th. Then Schrader, Terry Labonte, and Mark Martin.
Irwin having a fantastic run in this race. Still early on. Single file restart. Only 1 lap car to the inside with Dallenbach.
Saw Wally Dallenbach in the 50 there. He's trying to get back one of the 2 laps that he lost earlier.
Boy, I tell you, his chances are slim and none right now. You see everybody up there behind the 2 car. Rusty Wallace nose to tail down the back straightaway. He's only going to drop back.
Hey there, Bumblebee. Thanks for joining.
Dale Jarrett there.
Just on the restart from the second caution.
That's not just the car that won the $1 million last week. Believe it or not, it's the same engine. They took it all apart, put some new pieces in it, put the rest of it all back together. Same car, same motor.
A lot of fellas, though, had to go with brand new equipment like Earnhardt, like Mark Martin. They just couldn't resurrect the machine of a weekend ago.
Eli, Jeff Gordon right now is just running just about a perfect race. You see him behind Dale Jarrett right there, 2 of the fastest cars, and Earnhardt just in front of him.
Dan Part is still out there at 27.
They're just riding along. They're not worried about it because they know they have great race cars on this racetrack. Bobby Labonte in a second is going to look around, and I'm afraid that Rusty may be in trouble.
58 races now in a row that Rusty Wallace has not posted a victory. Dale Earnhardt there in the 3. You saw him with 1 win in 88 starts now.
Around
Look at that pack of traffic.
I was watching Jerry Nadeau in that green car up there. He was completely sideways on the high side, never cracked it, never backed up, just went right on by a car sideways.
Better believe it. Jerry doesn't live for anything.
Still in the early stages of the Pepsi 400. Rusty Wallace shows the way. And a long night's work yet to go.
Still a lot of the front runners still in the lead draft. Shows how important qualifying
Welcome
was.
back, everybody, live on TNN Motorsports.
Ooh, Earnhardt looking racy. Here we
Pepsi
go.
400, and Dale Earnhardt's going to make the outside work if he can. And he can. Dale Earnhardt takes the lead in the Pepsi 400. Jarrett and Gordon may start shuffling. Wallace the other way.
Yeah, they're on the outside there, nose to tail, and he's caught to the inside there. He's riding with Gordon as they head through the. Look at the tack there, 6,800.
Jarrett trying it. Oh, he's looking low. Here he comes.
The RPMs here in the restrictor plate races.
Yeah, he's got wrong side.
The restrictor plate does. You just don't crank them up to 9,000 RPM. Oh, it's Gordon working that wheel.
Fighting it there.
He is, but look what he's under here. He and Earnhardt side by side.
Earnhardt's got a teammate with him too.
Plus to all of that, Jarrett sneaks out ahead of the pack. So Jarrett just out of the screen is the race leader. This is for second.
Ooh, they're reeling in Jarrett pretty quick.
Outside of the racetrack, the 3 there, Dale Earnhardt, and you see Mike
Craven
Skinner
in the top
moving his way
10.
In there. They can hook up and really
5th
make
on
it
the
tough
inside
on these guys
line.
trying to lead. Look
looks like they're running the pace lap.
Yeah, at 190 miles an hour. Kenny Irwin in the 28 car was very concerned that no one would run with him because
will he be right on? Sounds like
and he's afraid that some of these guys just don't have the confidence to run with him. And so far, so good. He is still right up in the front group.
You see Craven?
I did.
Did you see the
Craven
36?
now all the way up to 8th place.
I love that they're noticing that somebody's doing well.
You're just joining
Atta
us.
boy.
Ernie
Great
Irvin
job,
started
Craven.
the car. Ricky Craven took over at a very early pit stop at lap 14.
He's making it work. It's Craven and Irvin's car, the Wildberry Pontiac.
Just want to see him do well.
He's a great kid. He really is, and he deserves a top ride in Winston Cup, and he's hoping to get one for next year. So far, he doesn't have anything.
Let's compare Mark Martin's hands now to what we saw earlier from Jeff Gordon, for instance.
You'll have to drop all the way on the left side. When Mark Martin first started racing, he was a very small boy before he started lifting weights, and he got where he would put both hands on the left side of the steering wheel through the corner so he could hold the car, and he never changed his driving style.
Rusty getting a little loose. Wow.
It sure does. It sure does.
Man, oh man, this is just so crystal
Let's
clear.
see if Gordon can make it work with Irwin.
It's clear to Irwin to be in the 98.
Jarrett.
Classics.NASCAR.com. Once again, NASCAR Classics, the great archive.
Running that close together.
Let me tell you, that's heaven right there for a real race car driver to get out there and run.
Gordon trying to get
like
third
they're
from
running
Skinner.
right now. There's no fear in that group right there. All they don't want to do is make a mistake.
Michael Waltrip is back on the racetrack. He is 15 laps down after the accident of earlier. There are those two T-Birds there, Spencer and Little.
I listen to them.
So all those teams in the garage trying to get back out, like they said, Michael Waltrip.
Never lifting in the corners, running wide open all the way around the racetrack.
Goes Irwin.
Mark Martin in the middle of all that traffic. If it weren't for the restrictor plate races, he'd be a whole lot better off this year. He's really had a tough time starting at Daytona where the rear end failed. He wound up 38th. He was 23rd at the first Talladega, and of course the big wreck last week. He was 34th. He doesn't like restrictor plate racing at the moment.
His finishes cost him 246 points versus what Jeff Gordon picked up at those exact same races.
Kenny Wallace and Nadeau both in the top 20.
Down at this time of the season, it really stands out.
Dave Marcus still in the lead lap.
Now Kenny Schrader just behind our leaders here. You see him there in the green, number 33, moving up.
There's Schrader, and there comes Mark Martin in ninth. The 40 is Sterling Marlin. Never count him out on the big tracks as we ride with Mark Martin.
Kenny Schrader there, as I was talking about, on the outside in the skull car as they come down the front straightaway side by side. Now the first three is trying to distance themselves from the guys that are running side by side.
Remember, folks, back in February when Schrader finished fourth in the Daytona 500, he had that fractured sternum.
I believe 99 was the last year they used Thunderbirds. They were used in the Bud Shootout.
He said, I'm happy to be
the
here,
team
to be here healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, he had his neck operated on a Monday and come down here and run a complete 500 here after having surgery. So he's a tough customer. Believe me, he loves to race.
And really, the only reason he didn't win in February, if you ask me, is he had no drafting partner when it counted, if you remember back to the finish of the Daytona 500. There you see the front three having pulled away by 0.6 of a second from fourth place on back. It's getting good at Daytona.
Craven in ninth place. Fantastic. Wildberry car tearing it up.
Everybody, you're looking at the race leader, Dale Jarrett, in a scramble for second place behind
Look at this heavyweight battle up front. These are like the biggest names of the time. Jarrett,
Mike Skinner,
Gordon, Bobby Labonte,
but it's going to be a big scramble. What happened to three-car draft, buddy, is, well, forget about that now.
Well, what we have now, we have a two-car breakaway and teammates going at it there. Mike Skinner fighting with Dale Earnhardt down the back straightaway. You can see these guys when they run side by side. The guys out front are going, we're going to do anything to do what they're doing back there because it's slower when two cars run side by side than when you really have a drafting partner out front.
Look at the 33. Schrader very much in the mix now. Ricky Craven in for Ernie Irvin, riding with Bobby Labonte in fifth.
Oh, Mikey about to lose another
Look at
lap here.
How fast he caught those guys after he quit running side by side with the 31 of Mike Skinner. He's right back on Gordon's back bumper.
Schrader having a strong run here tonight.
Ricky Craven there in that purple car on the outside there, filling in for Ernie Irvin. Great job. I guarantee you people right now are saying, you know, we might ought to talk to him, and we're thinking about putting somebody in our car for next year.
There you see everybody moving by. Michael Waltrip, who is 15 laps down. That first big pack of cars.
And Michael's car badly
no
wounded.
Morgan
He'll not
Shepherd
be
in this race,
competitive for the
unfortunately.
rest of the night.
He would run the season finale in 98.
Is there anything
but not
worse
this
than
race.
that, buddy? Just riding around?
Nothing in this whole wide world, because what you want to do, you want to be up here like these guys that are racing with each other.
Yeah, Schrader with a nice paint scheme. Same paint scheme he ran the 500.
That was a 4-second break in the traffic right there. Back to this next group of traffic. John Andretti.
Spencer Elliott and Nemechek.
That's 21st, 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And you drop even further back now to Bill Elliott, 6.5 seconds further back behind the race leader. And the next group with Nemechek and Benson and Rudd. That white car in the middle of the picture, that's Brett Bodine. Kyle Petty's in there as we take you back up front. Those are the three big basic packs of traffic. In the garage, Bickle, Musgrave, Green, LePage, Bodine, Strickland, and Standridge. Only Standridge not involved in the accidents on lap 32.
It may seem weird to see Ricky Stripes in the Haviland car, but then you think of Davey Allison in 87. Irwin's rookie season did not quite go nearly as well as Davies did.
Got a good car. He just got called out a little while ago. See Ricky Craven there coming off the corner on the high side in that purple car. He and Schrader are going at it now.
I want to go back to the infield care center a second, guys. And Hog, what's the deal on Kevin LePage? Have you heard anything yet?
Yeah, Eli, he's getting x-rayed right now. He's getting his shoulder x-rayed. They think it might be broken. And he might have broken it when he dove out of that race car. You remember there were some flames inside of there, and Kevin got out in a pretty big hurry.
No, we'll get an update further. That's Mike Hogwood down at the infield care center.
Ooh, Rusty trying to, I thought he was going to get under Irwin there.
But how Craven comes out in front of that pack.
There's a guy right there.
Pretty brutal race so far. I mean, goodness, yeah. LePage may have broken his shoulder, Tony Furr. Dallenbach's crew chief may have a broken leg.
Hampshire, I was talking with him about
Irvin out of the car.
Don't worry about this. He said,
issues from Talladega.
Restrictor plate tracks. That's where I'm really
no
going to run. And
safer barriers, no Hans device.
His career.
9 top 10 finishes for Sterling Marlin, including 3 wins and 3 second-place finishes in his last 12 Daytona starts. Fairly impressive numbers right here. But the most impressive numbers are the ones those guys are putting up on the board. They're trying to get gone from everybody else.
Hey, old merch. Here we go.
A lot of souvenirs here. They're coming right back. Welcome back. You think you have a great seat? You see that thing on the bottom of the screen?
Ah, that's a bad choice as far as I'm concerned. Make up your mind and make it good.
Well, I guess the Lizard heard all the seats were sold and he just wanted to get close to the action. Hope he got across.
Also gotten close to the action by logging on to country.com.
Yeah, camera guy is really on point here.
Web. It is your personal source for all things country, from race cars to country stars. Connect to country.com. Look at Ricky Craven.
Yeah, this wasn't nearly the best version of Silver Bullet. 2001's is way better.
With drafting help.
Well, he does, and he got a fast car with him. Bobby Labonte's right there. And you can see right now he's cleared Schrader all the way up to 4th. What a great drive. You know, the first time he drove for Hendricks Motorsports down here, they had a 1-2-3 sweep, and he was right up there. Ricky Craven, very good at Daytona.
No, it's a magnificent story there for Ricky Craven. Misses about a dozen races this year, comes back, lasts 4 more races before they part ways, he and the team.
And it's a brand new race car as well. He walked into the garage. He only knew the names of 2 of his crew members, one of them the crew chief, and he has managed to get this done tonight. What an incredible job by Craven.
Schrader almost stuck it in there.
Yeah. Would you please?
And they did. Look, the young man's running up in fourth.
But you know, one of the things they did that may have proven to be a good move was they didn't much work on qualifying. They instead worked on the race because they figured if Ernie got in the car to go backwards anyway at the start of the thing. Working tonight.
We're back in 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th on that.
Isn't it great to hear details about the drivers and teams and not just some oblique statement about strategy or something?
Working his way through traffic.
It's so refreshing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
You know, you see those hand signals right there. That's how you communicate with people.
Tell me what is happening, not what you think is happening. Like, come on.
When you want them to follow in line, you put your hand straight up and say, let's keep it all in line here. We're catching these guys that are racing side by side.
That's 12th and 13th. Mark's in 13th. You've got Ward just ahead of him and Sterling Marlin to the left.
You can hear he never lifts.
Here's Derek Cope now. Oh, too bad. Derek Cope running in 19th now. Way off the pace. Earlier, folks, if you weren't with us, he was mixing it up right outside
rear
the
spoiler's
top 5.
kicked up when he hit the
I was
wall.
watching that car come through there. He definitely got a problem. He was
they called Derek and asked what happened here.
If I'm not mistaken, just behind the left front there, I see a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, he might have brushed the wall.
Yeah, it's not good.
Looks like the smoke is going to come off, the right rear, probably from this angle. Tough
it looks
to tell,
like that
he might have
roof,
just brushed the wall coming off the corner.
He's had a tough time here at Daytona. 4 out of his last 5 starts have resulted in DNFs. But he did win here in 1990.
And now the guys in the truck have come up with the video.
Let's see.
Looking for
he got a big piece of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good work to pick out that shot right there. And glad he tagged the wall coming out of the floor.
Right rear
with the right rear.
Really
you know, that's what we're hearing. We've moved down into Derek's pits, and all the guys are standing on the wall waiting him right now. And there's always a bad sign. They got that great big hammer and the softball bat to try to get the thing straightened out for him. He still hasn't made it down pit road, but a lot of long faces here because he had a real good race car.
So his stop will take place under green, while up front you see the front 3. Jarrett took the lead at lap 44. We're now at lap 66. Jarrett led lap 1. Earnhardt led the next 30. Rusty Wallace led a lap. Marcus led a lap. Wallace led 7. Earnhardt led a lap. And now Jarrett has led from 44 through 66. If you're a Ted Musgrave fan, he's back after the accident of earlier. He's
Ted Musgrave's back on track.
laps down, but he's out there nevertheless.
So there's Cope on the apron.
Wally Dallenbach will go a 3rd lap down now, being bypassed by the leader.
Maybe that's Elliott. I think it's Elliott that's off the pace. Yeah, there's
Schrader hanging in there in 4th spot. That's the green car. Running a much higher line than anybody else in that front pack.
It's almost like his car's pushing a little bit, getting in the corner. You see him moving up the racetrack there.
Meanwhile, Kevin LePage has just walked out of the infield care center. Mike, what do you got?
He's right here now, and we'll try to get a word with him. He's explaining his injury.
Yeah, went in turn 1, following John Andretti. Come out of turn 2, the car broke loose, prime start torch. You know, I don't know if it was a rookie mistake or somebody took the air off the spoiler. Jack come over and said, maybe there's somebody behind me took the air off the spoiler. But, you know, I just hate it for all the other guys. I hate it for my team. I mean, they worked all week long to get this car back together after Talladega. And to come here and destroy the car, pretty frustrated.
Kevin, how's the shoulder?
It's a little tender right now. I definitely won't be playing golf tomorrow, but we'll be ready next week, Phoenix.
All right, Kevin LePage, they say he does have a crack in his scapula. He's a tough race driver. He'll be back next week.
Wow.
That's certainly good to hear that Kevin LePage will be back next week. Very talented young driver.
Yeah, Jay Sprague 24. Wally Dallenbach had a flat left front tire in the first 20 laps.
Derek Cope has taken the gum-out Pontiac behind the wall. Repairs will have to continue there.
Cope behind the wall, that's not good. No crash cloth, they can still come back out.
He is led already here this evening. It is in that 6-car pack. Those 6 all on the lead lap.
Oh, goodness.
The team has put in an extraordinary effort in their restrictor plate program this year. Last winter they tested, cut 7 different bodies off cars, working on things. Didn't quit there. They've been to Talladega with Jeremy Mayfield. Our broadcast colleague Buddy Baker's been through the window of cars in that team as well. Rusty was here testing several nights in the night. Looks like it's working pretty good, huh, Buddy?
Looks awful good right now, but you know, Dale Jarrett right now, he just, when he gets out in front, he keeps about the same distance on second place car all the way around the speedway. Nobody seems to be able, even with help, to pull up on him right at the moment.
And you know, you think about it, Jarrett has posted 7 finishes of 8th or better in his last 12 visits here. That includes a couple of wins. So, like he's up front here and won at Talladega last weekend. Certainly not at all a
the sound hits so good coming off the corner there. Love that reverse angle.
I think we all remember when he won his first time here at Daytona, and Ned Jarrett, his father, was able to bring him home on that last lap. One of the most inspiring things I ever watched on TV.
One of the best pieces of broadcasting you're ever going to enjoy. And watch this scramble here. That's
Here comes Schrader's looking real racy.
Trying to grab it away from Earnhardt.
He does
it. He's just
on the outside. Hard way to go.
Schrader 10
good move.
top 10s here. 12 races. Another fine super speedway racer.
He's a fine racer no matter what kind of racetrack it is. You know, you think about it, if it's a quarter-mile dirt track or a super speedway like this or half-mile.
Yeah, we're almost
really
halfway already.
There.
Flying
but
through
the
this.
frustration
Only what, two
cautions? Of not having posted a NASCAR Winston Cup win since Dover, Delaware, back in June of 1991. It's beyond belief.
Eli, you see him fading the high side of the racetrack. What he's getting, though, he's getting tremendous run down the back straightaway. He's using a little bit wider line. You see Earnhardt, no, he's looking back on the inside. No dice. The 33 is strong, but I tell you what, I don't think he's going to be able to keep running that high line because the guys will get away from him if he keeps doing that.
Terry Labonte there, left of your screen. He's running in 8th. Kenny Irwin behind him in 9th.
This is a second pack.
I don't believe they show a replay, but Brett 588. Good question. It's kind of weird because, yeah, that accident just exploded out of nowhere on the backstretch.
Labonte to his inside.
It sounds like LePage triggered it from his,
these things so many
his interview
times,
there, but we don't
goes
know.
To school on where you're running really good. You can see right there, Rusty Wallace running directly behind Bobby Labonte down through that back straightaway there. Great car, able to stay right on the apron.
75 laps on the board of 160. Just joining us, only 2 cautions. The retirees are Standridge, Jeff Bodine, LePage, Strickland, and Bickle.
The Bickle's done. That's surprising. It seemed like he didn't get that much damage, but I guess he did.
We are back. You watch a great scramble for second place behind the race leader, Dale Jarrett, coming to the halfway point of the Pepsi 400.
Behind the 3, lines behind the 3.
Listening to Jarrett's radio. He's also planning what to do with $10,000 on the line for the Gatorade Front Runner Award. He'd like to pick that up as they come to the cross flag.
The original broadcast is 7 replays.
Going,
okay.
Yeah, you guys keep racing side by side.
Surprised they don't seem to leave too much out of these broadcasts.
Pepsi 400.
Good job. Take care of your fuel.
Maybe they trimmed down
the
red
to see
flag
Jeff Gordon running as hard as he is and to be running up front this way when he's pretty well got the point thing locked up with 288 ahead. You might think he'd want to be conservative, but he said he has got a good view of the big picture, which is what they told him to do at Talladega last week when the 6th car went out. Mark
spotlight
Martin.
on the
said,
tachometer there.
I get out there and the instincts just take over.
And nothing like those kind of instincts for Jeff Gordon, who tries to pull off yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. Let's go down to his pit area, Steve.
Well, Eli, we were just listening to Ray Evernham talk to Jeff on the radio, and what they're going to do on the next pit stop is remove some tape from the front of the grill. They're a little concerned about the water temperature, but also we can ask Buddy Baker what sort of handling effect that has. They put about 4 strips of duct tape on the grill. They're going to pull one of them off next stop.
Well, what it'll do, Steve, it'll change the amount of downforce the front end has, of course.
Yeah, Pontiac very different back then. The Margaret Braun.
Benefits of keeping that engine pretty cool.
The wider is better program back when the body style was very different for the Mike.
Here's a battle for the lead.
Your spoiler front
the
valence.
whole line's down there.
angular shape.
Here comes Gordon right along. These guys are working together. You see him getting shuffled back to third place there, Eliza. Come down off turn 4.
Just got in front of Gordon there.
So all clear as Jarrett gets back in line, manages to get back in line.
Yep, Silver Bullet's a Chevy, Corey. Sterling Marlin's primary scheme was silver, blue, and yellow. This was actually a special paint scheme he ran back then.
Derek Cope is racing again, but he is 13 laps down if you're a fan of his.
Here comes 13 laps down.
Still running.
He's persistent, I'll tell you that, as he puts the 2 car there, Rusty Wallace, in position back.
Kenny Wallace looking good, 14th. Nadu 17th.
He's persistent too, the fellow in that black number 3. What a run he is having tonight at Daytona.
Dale Earnhardt, the winner of the Daytona 500. Still
I'm waiting for Jimmy Spencer to get up here, because I think he avoided that wreck.
Open-faced helmet of his. We asked him about it this weekend. Why do you still wear that?
I'm more comfortable in it. I can feel the air around the car. I can feel when the car's under me, the air changes, you can hear better. I don't know, it's sort of driving by the seat of the pants, kind of old-style racing, I reckon, but just what I really got used to. I've tried the full-face helmets. I've tested with them. I tried to engineer one that I could wear that would be comfortable or give me the vision and give me the feel and the sound that I wanted, but just never was comfortable with them, so I never have evolved into that.
And we talked about it this weekend, buddy. A lot of folks, if you've never driven, you don't quite understand what he's talking about when you can feel that air.
It's very simple. You've had the window down when you pass a truck on the interstate.
Sure.
You can feel the pressure inside the car change as you go by the truck.
The same thing happens inside on the helmet top,
He has
Spencer in 23rd, too.
peripheral vision as well. He can see cars coming up, and spotters here are a bit of a problem. It's really difficult for the spotters to make the call, so the drivers have a lot more responsibility in that regard. Open-face helmet may prove to be an advantage for Earnhardt tonight.
31 times he's been to victory lane here. Here's a good scramble for 11th now as Sterling Marlin in the 40 tries to grab the spot from Ricky Craven, who's subbing for Ernie Irvan in the 36.
There.
So they make that swap easily enough. Mike Hogwood's been down in the Ernie Irvan, Ricky Craven pit area all night.
Ryan Pemberton just told me that Ricky Craven says the car can be even better. He thinks it is way too loose. They're going to tighten it up on this pit stop coming up in a couple of laps.
Well, for being loose, he looks like he's handling it pretty good.
For this thing.
Well, we'll find out. Certainly, he's running in 12th right
Hillenberg
now.
up to 24th.
Everybody pitted at lap number 33. We're now at 85, so closing in on pit stops here at the World Center of Racing.
Just gonna say, it seems like it's pretty long fuel load here.
Daytona at the speed of light. Tonight live on TNN Motorsports.
Here's Harrison Burton. There's somebody.
Jeff Gordon is the new leader of the Pepsi 400. 12 times he has raced here at Daytona. He has led the race in 11 of those 12 events. He made the move around Dale Earnhardt at lap number 87, bringing Schrader with him to second, and here's what happened just a half lap ago.
You see him power by on the inside of Earnhardt, and he gets some help from an old teammate there, Ken Schrader. He goes with Gordon on the bottom, meaning one thing, Doctor, that Schrader can run anywhere he wants to. He can run low if he wants.
He just proved that. But there he is, back upstairs again. Maybe the car is happier up there.
Maybe the car thinks Harry Gant is driving.
Maybe it does. Exactly. It's the green Skull car. Harry Gant for many years ran upstairs in cars that looked just like this one.
Well, it's not very long until we start thinking
Love
about
those reflective numbers on
said,
Schrader's car, too. Gorgeous car.
I better take it.
So he grabs his 5 bonus points. The way in what he's running right now, the lead pack is tied tightly together by 0.7 of a second from Gordon back to Wallace.
Still 6-car
breakaway.
breakaway.
A half second further back to the Labonte brothers.
Yeah, you got a few that are still catching them.
Knows in the middle of all that, Kenny Wallace in 14th, Nadeau in 15th, Andretti in 18th. Super run for those fellas here tonight. Andretti, of course, a winner here just a year ago. Led 113 of the laps here a season back. Sterling Marlin, Jeremy Mayfield, that's 11th and 12th on your screen. 13th now That is Ricky Craven in Ernie Irvin's car, 4.5 seconds behind the race leader. Then you drop back 5 seconds further back, and you'll finally get to the lap machine of Brett Bodine. Earnhardt is the new leader because he stays on the track while others make pit stops.
There we go.
Pit stops at lap number 92 for most of the race leaders.
Set head too. He was running the Scooby-Doo Zombie Island paint scheme. Very good one. Definitely in the top 3 of the Cartoon Network.
Let's go down to Steve Burns.
And Jeff Gordon's in. They're going to change right side tires on the DuPont Chevy right now. They went to look at the tape on the front of the grill. So far, they have not. Now they removed the tape off the front of the grill. The water temperature has come down. When he took the lead, he got out in clean air. Left side tires are on, and Jeff Gordon is down in 19.5 seconds.
Oh, he gets dusted by Mayfield.
Here come others leaving the pit lane behind them. The drag race is on while Ricky Rudd enters pit road. So does Park and
Sharknado, I like
Kyle
it.
Petty is in for his service. All of this taking place at lap number 92. Dale Earnhardt currently the race leader. Johnny Benson just ahead of him has already been in the 26.
Schrader is Hilbert's spotter in ARCA. I didn't know that.
Some 5 laps to go.
Well, if the caution was to come out right now, you could see Jeff Gordon going a lap down to Earnhardt, who's been out on the racetrack. There's Gordon right there. He likes that. He's 1 full lap behind right now.
Shades of Talladega last week.
Earnhardt, Jarrett, Bobby Labonte.
Again, 3 is the leader. 88, Jarrett is second. Bobby
Marcus
Labonte
back there a little bit.
Also out there running in third. Glenn Jarrett, what are they saying about the strategy to stay out while the others pitted?
Well, guys, on about lap 85, Bobby Hutchins from the 3 car came down to the 88 car, and he talked to Todd Parrott. What they're trying to do, they got Earnhardt to drop back, and Gordon went by him. So
Gordon's
DJ
coming
and Earnhardt
quick.
could run nose to tail. The reason that Earnhardt's following that lap car now, they're trying to save fuel so they can go to lap 97. If they go to 97, they have run 66 laps on fuel, and there's 1 lap less than that to go when they return to the racetrack, only 63 laps. So they're trying to make it to 97.
Yeah, no overtime.
Earnhardt and Jarrett think if they do that, they can make it on just 1 more stop. They're trying to save fuel right now. They're encouraging them both to watch the fuel, watch the fuel.
You can see right there, though, the new tires are really, really working for these guys as they come up through there. Jeff Gordon's picking them off. He went by Dale Jarrett not long ago. Now he's put Earnhardt down. He is moving. I'm telling you, he's flying out there with new tires.
Bobby Labonte.
I like to hear Labonte say Eli say Labonte. I agree.
He is at the head of that line.
Labonte.
If you're a Jeff Green fan, after the accident of earlier, he's back on the racetrack. 61 laps down.
I love that they're bringing up who's back out. It's alive.
You see the race
got a lot of cars coming back from that big
Labonte
wreck about 40 laps in the race.
in the middle of a series of pit stops under the green here at the World Center of Racing, and it's all live on TNN Motorsports.
Coming up on the last 60 laps of the race. Kenny Irwin's still in the top 10.
This TNN Motorsports race summary is sponsored by Texaco. There you see the numbers. Average speed of 161 is still some 12 miles an hour off the record pace set by
Joe
Bobby
Nemechek.
Allison in a Mercury here back in 1980. But nevertheless, only 2 cautions slowing this evening's activities. Pit stops are continuing now, as you see those who are officially done for the evening, all with the exception of Cope and Standridge as a result of the accident of earlier. There's a story on Dale Earnhardt's car. He came into pit
no,
at
that's
lap
right. This is the race when this
97.
happened.
The nose of the car was pristine.
Oh, that's
Watch
right.
what
He hits
happened
the
as he was
tire.
leaving pit road. Watch
Oh,
this.
God.
See this tire right there?
Oh.
Look at the front end. Now he knows it's there. He starts wiggling the car,
now
trying to
he
make
can't
it
get
go
it out
one
of
way
there.
or the other. It's bending the front of the car in. Right here, it gets rid of it. But look at
Somehow
the
I
damage
thought that was
to
a
the nose of that
99.
car. That may really, really hurt that car when he gets up.
Desert Fox, glad you're
Mike
enjoying it.
Ogden, what are they saying? How
Oh, man, that's in a
significant is the
number.
damage?
Look
the
at
damage
that.
is significant. They're pulling a new nose piece out from under the tarp back here. I believe Dale Earnhardt's going to have to come back in here.
How about that?
Yeah, I remember that happening. I remember that clearly, but I forgot that was in this
Double
race.
for this year.
I thought it was 99.
What he needs to do right now is find somebody, get directly behind him.
Boy, that did a massive amount of
damage.
damage.
On the nose of the car, but he needs to get a drafting partner and follow as closely behind him as he possibly can.
The race leader now is Jeremy Mayfield through the cycling around of pit stops. If you're curious, the last time one driver won both the Daytona 500 and the Pepsi 400 in the same year, Bobby Allison back in 1982.
Musgrave out there with the right front
has
taped up.
problems leaving pit road. Meanwhile, that man, Dale Jarrett, running in 6th. Let's get an update on him from the pit lane.
Slingshot around.
Well, guys, while we were away, Dale Jarrett, Dale Earnhardt, and Bobby Labonte all came in at the same time on lap 97. That's exactly what they planned. As I said, that only left 63 laps for them to go.
Valens.
Jarrett
not splitter.
4 tires.
Big difference.
Gave him fuel in 16.9 seconds. They had a great pit stop. They came back out on the racetrack with their drafting partner, Bobby Labonte. They're set to go the rest of the way. Here's Steve Burns.
Hey, Glenn, we just saw Dale Earnhardt hit a tire on pit road. I'm down in the 28 pits of Kenny Irwin. This is where the tire came to rest. You can see it came off the 18 car of Bobby Labonte. This is the
Bobby Labonte
tire that did the damage to the front end of Dale Earnhardt's car.
Okay,
so
blame Bobby on that
now
one.
Beginning to build, just 60 laps from the finish in the Pepsi 400. Kenny Irwin right now
almost does
being
look big,
shown
Big
the
G.
11th spot. And there's your leader, the 24, Jeff Gordon, putting a lap on Kyle Petty and following
good catch, NASCAR, man.
the racetrack.
You're right, yeah, Stewart in 2000 as well.
25th and 26th, respectively.
This part is still
Bobby
out there.
Labonte in the 18.
He's got some damage to the left
Full
rear.
car is Schrader. Jarrett right there watching as well.
No surprise as we approach the end of this race. And laps are winding down to see that 24 car in the lead.
Boys, don't count that 3 car out. He's got damage to the front, but he's directly behind these guys. Tucked right up.
Jeff Green out there with
bumper
those
there. The
taped
33
up.
car, Kenny Schrader. He's taking her home. Look at this, right up under him.
There you see
He's
the nose
trying.
of that Chevy Monte Carlo. It's from Bobby Labonte's onboard cameras.
And it's really pushed up. When you think about all the effort they put into these cars at the wind tunnel, a 16th here or there makes a huge amount of difference. And you can see that this is a lot more than a 16th. This is feet that are messed up.
But he's going right by the guy whose tire he collected.
Down on the bottom side, you can see right now, though, he's giving up a little bit getting in the corner. As you can see, Jarrett and him run right up on him there, getting in the corner.
Real bad.
Pushes off the corner
Whoa, he's going to sideswipe Jarrett there.
Keep it rolled down low, and Glenn, that could be the story as they
hard
work
to keep
off the
it
corner.
straight.
Oh, absolutely, guys. You know, as long as he keeps
trying to just get the hell by him.
right up behind somebody else, that air dam doesn't make any difference because he's not breaking any air up. It's not hitting that spoiler. It's when he gets in the corner and gets up high out of the draft of another car, that's when it kills him. That's taking air off the nose. It's reducing the downforce on the car. It's going to make it push. As long as he's stuck right up somebody's tailpipe, he don't have a problem. But he's running in clean air by himself. That's where it's going to hurt him.
Good point from Glenn Jarrett down on the pit lane. We are at lap 103. You see just 57 to go.
Department of Transportation tape. I love it.
A spectacular night here at the World Center of Racing. The first time ever at the 2.5
Thank you, everyone, tuning in. We're coming down to the last 60 laps of the race.
And it's Jeff Gordon showing the way.
57 to go. Craven from 39th to the grid to 9th. Fantastic.
Welcome back. The Pepsi 400 at Daytona. 23 cars still on the lead lap. 23rd spot belongs to Bobby Hamilton. The race lead held by Jeff Gordon to go to the top spot at lap number 100. We're now at lap 105. All right, let's test your trivia knowledge, gentlemen.
Aflac back then.
When and where was the first restrictor plate race run? Problems in turn 2. We'll get back to that in a moment. Problems in turn number 2. Dan Pardis.
No, Pardis.
Daytona Beach, Florida, spins off the number 2 corner. There's Dan
forgot
Pardis.
it ended that way for him. I thought he finished under power.
First time in a NASCAR Winston Cup race. He's from the ARCA Bondo Marhide Series. And caution is on the speedway. Caution, lap 106. That man, Dan Pardis.
Yeah, leaders seem to have this one pretty well in
Spins off
check.
the corner.
Eli, you can see him moving around inside the car there. That's always a good sign.
Pardis, again, fastest in second round qualifying.
For you.
Unfortunately, a wreck in this one. Ooh, it's just stepping out
See
on
the
him.
back of the car just start around on him, down on the flat part. Now watch it go back up the racetrack. Right there. Ooh, I'm telling you.
Kenny Irwin.
Just got by.
Just did miss.
Well, Irwin may be a rookie, but that was a veteran move.
Behind the wall.
Artis has it running. Not that badly damaged either.
So Dan Pardis brings out caution for the 3rd time today. Now before he
That's
spun,
right. Earnhardt could fix the
we were
valence.
giving you that Aflac
Hopefully during that whole time,
trivia
they're
question.
patching something together there to slap on the front of the
Aflac
3.
wanted to know when and where was the very first NASCAR Winston Cup restrictor plate race run?
Well, I'm not going to answer because I know, but you know what? Yeah, go ahead.
That was something back in the 70s that did it before. I mean, Daytona 88 seems like the obvious answer.
Michigan Speedway. A lot of folks say, what? Didn't think it was anywhere except Daytona or Talladega.
See, I told you sometimes I do know.
He knew it all along. So caution for the 3rd time here at the World Center of Racing. Pit road is open. We'll take a look at all the top runners as
611
they
Hornet.
come
Yeah,
down
Morgan
the
was
pit
with
lane.
the Stavolas around
These
this time.
stops
He
will
ran
be
the
at lap
season finale at Atlanta
107.
with them, but
all the
not in
leaders
this
are
race.
coming in. Gordon, Mayfield in second. Earnhardt.
I'm trying to remember who,
next
because
in
it
line.
wasn't
Mike
Strickland
Hockwood.
that drove for him in this.
Well, Dale Earnhardt
Or
is in, and they are
Jones.
cleaning the windshield, putting 4 tires on. But behind the toolbox here, they are still putting tape on a nose piece. They hope to put the bottom piece of the nose on. It is not ready yet. Bobby Hutchins has told me that they have worked hard to try to get this done. They're pulling out the nose. Now they're seeing if they can pull it out a little bit. They have got it out just a bit. The Steve Burns.
And Jeff Gordon comes on pit road, just narrowly misses Jeremy Mayfield. 4 tires for the 24 car and fuel, and they should be able to go the distance from this point. We'll double check with Ray Evernham.
So pit stops taking place here at lap 107. The work continues. Bobby Hutchins, the man at the front right there, doing the work.
Seems like that nose wants to get pushed back in again. I don't know, taping the outside of it's going to do anything.
Dale Earnhardt's been back in for another stop here at lap number 108.
Much better.
More work on the nose of his Chevrolet. Meanwhile, there is your leader.
They're not overheat.
Kenny Irwin. Remember
Atta
how
boy,
close
Irwin.
he was getting caught up in Pardis's spin up there, fellas?
Boy, he could have been out of the race just as easily as he's leading the race right now. Jeff Burton right now is running in second. Joe Nemechek. We have a new cast of people, and Bill Elliott all the way up to 4th now.
There is Jeff Gordon. He's running back
here.
in
That's a good
9th
question.
right now.
Teammate right behind him.
What a year for Jeff Gordon. It really has been a dream season, hasn't it? 10 wins. 29 starts. The numbers are just
team actually
spectacular.
didn't
No, in
attempt this race.
1975, remember that? The King, Richard Petty, 13 wins and
Their
30
last start
starts.
before this was Michigan,
21
where
top
Morgan Shepherd
fives,
got
and he
last
won
in
the
that
title
race.
by 722 points. You know what he won that year, guys? $130,275. That was the point championship. Then you see some bonus dollars thrown in. Look at that comparison. Let's go forward to DW. Darrell Waltrip with 12 wins and 31 starts in 1981. He won the title by 53 points over Bobby Allison that year. Check out the monies there. Gordon already this year versus what Darrell won for all of 1981.
I love all the special music tracks for each segment
that
here.
guy, Earnhardt, 1987, won the title by, 489 points over Bill Elliott, 11 wins, 21 top fives. The Intimidator, couple of $1 million and change. That's not that far away. That's 11 years ago, guys. That's all.
Used to be you could get that
And, you know, if you
information.
step out of the so-called
I agree. The earnings are
modern era,
fascinating.
The greatest season ever was, of course,
I'm with you, Willie B.
1967 by Richard Petty. Folks, remember that year? 27 wins. 27 wins
Bobby
that
Labonte
year.
loses 7
38 top
positions on pit
fives,
road. Gordon
48
loses 8.
starts. At one point, what was it, 10
Jarrett
wins in a
loses
row?
7.
And his paycheck
Terry
for that
Labonte
whole
loses
season
3.
was $130,000.
Oh, everybody lost that. Yeah, I assume
Well,
people
Eli
stayed
Winston
out.
was in the media center and announced they're going to redo
They
that
got
No
Irwin
Bull
up
5
there.
program. The guy with the biggest grin, guess who?
I bet.
Gordon.
to work at lap 111 of 160.
Remarkable run by Kenny Irwin, rookie.
Irwin doing fantastic.
Hasn't finished at Talladega either race.
Oh, he's best
Engine
run since
failure
the
at
Spring
both.
Atlanta race that year.
Here he is leading at Daytona.
Whoa,
Ooh, Burton's going to try to get around
Jeff
him.
Burton looking on the outside.
Park
I thought
trying
he
to
was
get
going to
a
make
lap
it 3 wide as he come off turn 2. He'll go down the back straightaway. Right now, Steve Park is trying to make up a lap on the inside there. I don't think so. He's called out a lap. You can see right there. There's our new leader.
Kenny Irwin, third race he has led this year. He led 113 laps in Atlanta back in March. He led 1 lap under the lights in Richmond back in early September. And now here tonight at the World Center of Racing. Jeff Burton second, Nemechek third, Bill Elliott fourth, Schrader fifth, Lloyd Burton is sixth.
Is Elliott a lap down?
Dusty Wallace seventh,
See him up
Nate Fields
there.
eighth, Jeff Gordon ninth.
Seems like he wasn't really a factor in this one.
What a weird year for Kenny Irwin. I mean, misses the first race at Charlotte, has a great run the second time around, but no speed down the stretch.
Goes to Atlanta and looked like he may win the race there until right near the end of the race. Had a pit stop to put him back, but right up front all day long.
Getting
And last week
overhauled by
runs a
Schrader.
handful of laps.
Lloyd
That's all
Burton
at
behind him.
Talladega. And now here he is.
Elliott is on the lead lap, fourth
late in the
place.
evening. There's Earnhardt with that fixed up nose piece.
He's got his teammate
His
back there
teammate
with
right
him,
behind him to help him through all that traffic.
Chad Little.
They're back in 21st and 22nd spots respectively there.
You know, you heard Glenn at the first part of the day talking about people making deals. Right now, team cars.
That is such a good Nadeau paint scheme. I do like that one.
Jeremy Mayfield.
The Scooby-Doo one is quite good.
Rusty Wallace.
I like the Jetsons 1999 version.
Let's see what happens here.
That's probably a
Schrader's
higher
thinking
lap
about doing something.
than Dexter's lap. The 99 scheme is even better. The 98 one, if I had to pick one, it would probably be
How
that.
about first? Look at Schrader on the high side there. And right behind him, Ward Burton. Down on the bottom side, you can see the team cars.
Not clear, not clear yet.
Middle of that pack near the back, 3 wide as they come to the stripe. Irwin again by inches.
Earnhardt looking
Irwin
under
by inches at the
Craven.
stripe.
Teammates all over this place. You're right, buddy. The 24 and 5 are hooked up. The 2 and the 12 are
You got
hooked
Jeff
up.
and Ward
no
Burton there
teammates right
drafting
up
each
front
other.
there, though. Irwin, the 28 car, your leader.
Mayfield and Wallace were so good in the 500 that year. Seeing them again right up in the
They're
back.
certainly using it here tonight.
Yeah, they are.
I've been down there, believe me. That is not car friendly.
Oh, Jarrett, wow.
Look at Jarrett. Fire by to the inside. He'll make it work there. Grabs a couple of spots.
You know who he's looking at on the high side there. You see he knows Gordon.
Pontiac in 97, which one? Ward Burton was. Schrader was still a Chevy. This is Andy Petry's team, said
Top
MV2.
5, Irwin, Schrader, Rusty Wallace, Ward Burton, Jeremy Mayfield. That's how they run, Glenn.
They're cool.
Yeah, Eli, I think
One-off
let's put it in
scheme there for
perspective. On
Nemechek.
that
Bell
last
South
pit stop,
special
Kenny
paint scheme
Irwin,
for these is
Jeff
pretty
Burton,
good.
Joe Nemechek, Bill Elliott, and Ken Schrader all came in with everybody else. They only took 2 tires. That's how they got out in front of everybody else. Ward Burton did not change tires. He took fuel only. The rest of the guys, Gordon, Jarrett.
Gordon, way
the
the
2 car,
heck
those
down.
guys, they took 4 tires.
Wow.
That's why they lost so much track position to begin
Gets
with.
right up in front of Jarrett. He's going to be flying into 3.
How about a Tarzan sound? Do you hear it? That 24 of Jeff Gordon went all the way down to the grass there on the bottom part of the
He's
racetrack.
going to get under Rusty here.
Just eating these cars
Oh, my
alive.
goodness.
Yes, sir, with a championship at stake, Gordon is driving a conservative race tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where's Mark Martin? Martin needs to not let Gordon get away from him, but we haven't seen him be a factor all night. Ooh, Jarrett! Going to pull the rope-a-dope on him.
There was a little contact there. I think what happened there was you could see Gordon move to the bottom and then move right back out. And he got
it's
touched
getting
on the
aggressive
right rear
now.
corner there by Jarrett.
Irwin's still leading.
Got Chad Little running in 15th right now, having picked up 5 spots of late. Haven't talked much about Spencer. His T-Bird's back in 21st right now. Why don't we check in on pit road with Steve Burns? Steve?
Eli, I went to Ray Evernham after that last caution 7 or 8 laps ago, and he said that was a huge break for them because they could not have made the rest of the race on gasoline, but they can now because of that last caution when Dan Pardis had trouble.
So it turns out to be a big break right there for Jeff Gordon.
off the lead lap.
Meanwhile, Kenny Wallace, who ran as high as 8th at one point last Sunday in Talladega, is now headed to the garage area. And if he doesn't come back out, it'll be his 13th DNF of the year.
Ooh, Chad Little blocking Earnhardt big time.
It's getting a little dicey now.
Yeah, it's showtime. The dress rehearsal's over. These guys are starting to push each other around, making 3 wide down the back straightaway. As you can see here, these guys are going after it every way they can right now. Earnhardt kind of mired up in traffic at the moment.
Last lap for that pack of traffic, 188.
Here comes Little. Little is looking really fast in that Thunderbird, getting under Elliott.
Pretty wide going into the corner. You can go
second
in that
move
way,
he's
but
made
you can't
the
go
last
through
couple
it that
laps.
way.
Can't clear him, but he's got Earnhardt right behind him.
Bill Elliott right in the middle of all that mess. His crew definitely deserves the trophy for the hardest working crew. They have been under that car, over that car, inside that car. They
There's
left
Mark
here
Martin.
last night when the garage closed. Every one of those guys looked like they had rolled around in the oil and the mud and the dirt because they had.
Eli's had a beautiful shot as these front guys go down the front straightaway.
Top 7 pulling away again.
I'll tell you what, that is beautiful, beautiful racing.
Unbelievable.
Comes Rusty taking a peek.
Rusty Wallace.
Now the inside. Here we go.
Kenny Irwin now, inside, outside. Is he more messing with him?
Jarrett's going to try to get Gordon out of line.
Well, I tell you who
Didn't
looks
work.
strong to me. You look at the 4th place car of Jarrett right there. He's looking right now. He's thinking about if I could just get to my teammate right now, one of us would make this thing a little tough.
Rex were about 200% more dangerous, so had to be more careful. Yeah, very good point.
This year, 34th here at Daytona, 3rd in the first Talladega race. A winner
Yeah,
last
97
weekend
is
of the
Roush.
Winston
Yep.
500. And running in 4th right now, lap
They went to
118
Roush in
of
98,
160,
kept the paint scheme,
while
but
the
switched to Ford.
Kingsman Andretti is running in 20th.
Yeah. Oh, definitely love the Wildberry Skittles paint scheme, Thomas Rowan.
There is
Absolutely.
the lead pack. Gordon
It's getting a
now
lot of
running in 2nd
feature
with
tonight
Jarrett
with
in
Craven having a
3rd.
great run, replacing Irvin for the race.
They shuffled
After Irvin
Mayfield
started.
and Wallace before. Rusty tried his darndest to get back in line, but let's see what Gordon
Gordon's
wants to do.
oh, here we go.
He'll make the low side work. He led from lap 100 through 106.
Back up front.
You see Jarrett going
DJ's going to stay with
there
him.
as they go down the back straightaway.
Ward
They should
Burton,
just move
4th in
him right
line.
on back
Schrader,
to about
3rd in
5th or
line.
6th spot before he
Now there
gets
goes
back in
Irwin to the
line.
back.
So Kenny Irwin
It's not going to be able to get in there.
The
Nope.
exchange there.
Let's try to get behind Mayfield. Nope, can't get in there. Nope, nope, nope.
Gordon takes the lead, lap 122.
Got to get in front of Rusty. Break up the Penske guys at
22,
least.
they're working a little bit together on the low
Nope,
side of Kenny
no.
Irwin.
Oh, he's going to
What a great
just
car
get in there.
Yeah,
No,
so he
got
pulled right on the
Rusty
deck
looking
of
low
the
on him.
12 car, Jeremy Mayfield.
What a smart job of driving that race car as well. Handled himself extremely well tonight, given his very limited drafting experience.
Here's Rusty Wallace a little while ago getting shuffled out of the draft. Nobody would let him in.
Not even his teammate.
There's certain things your teammate just can't do, and one of them back off when he sees a guy. You see him move up, try to help him right there.
We're going to have caution on the speedway for a rain shower out of the corner.
Rain in 3 and 4.
You hear the drivers being told by the spotters, caution for rain.
Well, DJ's still trying to race him to the line.
Okay, the leader's got it.
And Rodney Wise, the native of Delaware, atop the flag stand, and there you see some of the rain falling. Interestingly, in turn 3 and 4, the NASCAR officials in turn 1 and 2 saying that right now it's dry out that way. I remember one time, it's got to be 15, 16 years ago, when I was working for MRN Radio, and I was broadcasting on a tower out there in turn 3 and 4, as dry and as comfortable as could be. And Barney Hall, who still anchors on the MRN broadcast, he was working turns 1 and 2. And all day he kept going up and down his tower because the rain kept hitting in that
Two
one end of the
cautions for
speedway
rain,
only.
but still a pretty good
and then
show,
keep
though.
throwing the caution. and I never got a drop of rain
Guys
down the
enjoyed
other
it, though?
end of the back
It's pretty
straightaway all
competitive.
day. I just watched Barney going up and down the scaffold. Thankfully, that wasn't me. But so yeah, seeing rain at one end of the speedway is not unusual here at the World Center of Racing.
It's on our lens there as well. Yep, see it?
There you see now the rain coming over towards the main straightaway now. We had a little delay for rain back at lap 13. A caution came out for a lap or two. Lap 32, a multi-car accident on the
Makes a
back
lot of movement in
straightaway.
the crowd there.
When Kevin LePage lost the car. Others involved were Rich Bickle, Jeff Green, Hutch Strickland, Johnny Benson was involved, Ted Musgrave, Jeff Bodine, Michael Waltrip, and Wally Dallenbach. Then Dan Pardus spun at lap 106, and now rain here at lap 122.
See them putting the tarps down there to keep the pit lanes as dry as they possibly can.
Of course, pit road is
New
also open.
grandstands being
Dale
built on the
Earnhardt
main
is going to
straightaway
make
there.
a stop. Also coming down the pit lane will be Joe Nemechek. So they'll pull those tarps quickly. Mike Hogwood, back to that nose they go.
Yeah, and Bobby Hutchins and Kevin Hamlin go back to work on it. They want to try to make this car perfect because Dale Earnhardt had shot back up through the field. He made it back up into the top 10 before this caution came out. And Dale's telling them that, hey, you know, we still got time. We can
Put
do
on
this
rain
thing.
tires. Yeah, no
if we
kidding.
get the car exactly right. So they're trying to get that nose perfect.
Why did Eli leave NASCAR? He didn't leave it really, Dirty Dev. It's just a matter of TNN just lost their rights to the broadcast.
With the hood up, he is in. Joe
That was just his
Nemechek
broadcast
is in.
partner.
Wally Dallenbach in
Apparently
for
they had some
service.
connection
The
with
other teams,
CBS
though,
that also
can't
lost their
go
rights.
the distance. Again, if you're just joining us, when everybody
wow,
stopped
look
at
at
lap
that
107
fender
and
is
lap
puckered.
108, they took on tires. Those who chose to, they
There you go,
filled it
hammer
up
that thing out.
with 76 racing fuel, and they're all able to go the distance from there. But a light rain shower crossing the speedway here in Daytona. We're going to break
that's
away
sick
and take
helmet.
care of some business. More on TNN in just a moment. The 1984 Firecracker 400, perhaps the most memorable of them all. Remember that one? Richard Petty, Cale Yarborough crossing under the flag stand. 3 laps to go. The yellow
Yeah, he's
came
still
out.
on radio.
Doug
Yeah, I wasn't
Heffron
saying that. It's
spun
put on
in
TV,
turn number
really.
1. Both of those veterans realized immediately that they were racing for the win right there. Cale Yarborough tried that old slingshot move. Made the pass in turn 3. And Cale slides high, giving Richard Petty some running room again to come back.
Does he still work for PRM? I know that
victory
now he's had some
by
health
less
issues.
than 1
He was
foot.
coming back into doing college football. I know there was, of course, he's been inseparable from that.
Thrilling day here at the World Center of Racing. Then, while they celebrated, Cale Yarborough unwittingly pulled down the pits 1 lap early. The race wasn't over. They just raced back to the caution. Harry Gant comes in to finish second. And, of course, President Ronald Reagan on hand to honor the King in his 200th and final victory. And there's the King's car right now.
There's
John
a better look at
Andretti
that
is
firefighter
12th
tribute
right
paint
now.
scheme.
The winner of this
Kind of a
race a year
purple
ago,
and orange,
when he
kind of a
led
weird
some
color scheme, but a cool tribute,
113
though.
Of the 160 laps. Now the field about to go back to work. They've gotten the 1 to go signal, this little rain shower having wound down.
Doctor, you see Kenny Irwin right there in the 28 car. He had problems when he made his pit stop and had to come back in. He had a left rear going flat.
Steve Burns has the story. Steve?
Yep, Eli, here's the tire. You can see right here inside the circle, just a small cut on the tire, the left rear tire of the 28.
Oh,
when he
man.
got shuffled out of the lead a little while ago, that's why the thing was starting to go flat. You can see there's very little pressure in it.
Well, the caution came out at the right time.
So that was the story on Kenny Irwin. The unscheduled stop drops him back to
43 is
19th
nice.
position.
That's the fun part. You watch these old races, you can look and see what the diecasts look like
with us,
online.
Eli Gold, Dick Berggren, Buddy Baker, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, Mike Hogwood, and the entire TNN Motorsports team. As for Dale Earnhardt,
Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. 141 people in here. We're getting down to the last,
repairs now.
Looks
what,
like they got
30,
it just
30
right.
odd
Eli.
laps
They came
here.
back in every lap under that caution. Now he'll be at the tail end of the lead, lead pack, but he has drafting partners. His teammate Mike Skinner came in for another adjustment. Also, Kenny Irwin, a good fast car. And Jeff Burton just came in and changed 4 tires.
Desert Fox,
So
very
he's got 3
comprehensive,
good
yeah.
cars back there.
Look how much we're learning about the entire field. You
Got
could
some
probably
good
have something to
guys
say
run
about
with. Come back
every
to the
single
back.
person in this race
Well, we'll all
after
find out
watching
together
just the
as
race, not
field
even watching
gets set to
qualifying.
go back to green after this little delay.
Well, it's not overwhelming. It's fascinating.
10-4, I will.
All right, a lot of lap
About
cars
every
on the
5 laps.
inside from the wreck and so forth.
Ready? Nice, smooth ready. Green.
Oh, thank you for coming. LOL Racing League. Here we go. 31 to go.
On the restart now, Rich Bickle makes his way to the garage as we ride with Steve Park, and let's listen to the action here at Daytona.
Bickle came back out and parked again. Okay. Tight up there. Just deafening in Steve Park's car.
Sounds of the World Center of Racing under the lights with 30 laps to go to settle this Pepsi 400.
And it will be interesting to see if those cars in the back of the pack on the lead lap that took fresh tires are able to run the leaders down. They've got time.
You can see the obvious problem right now, though. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Sometimes they even try to make it 4 wide.
Classics.nascar.com. Check out NASCAR Classics.
Right now,
Beautiful,
beautiful
renderings of these races.
That's 13th on back. Spencer in 13th spot.
3 wide back in the pack.
Scramble and Freddie and Johnny
There's Nadu right
Benson
behind
joining
Benson.
in. And Freddie's on the lead lap in the 43. Benson in that red 26 is not.
And that middle is not a comfortable place to be at all.
Jerry squeezed it on by. There you go.
Less so here even than Talladega.
Now Nadu in that
Oh, hang on. Spencer just got into him. Oh, my goodness. That could have been huge.
Meanwhile, in 5th position on back.
How did he keep that thing straight?
Shuffled Ward Burton out of the picture. And back again to 12th and 13th position.
So look, Spencer backed off now. Yeah, they have to show that again.
Here's what it looked like.
It just got tipped.
Spencer
Just
and
could have hooked him right in the petty, and that would have been on from there.
Touch there. You could see Spencer's car, the 23 there, the second car on the right there, getting really sideways off turn 2.
That could have been big. That could have been really big.
Up front, Jeff Gordon still shows the way. Everybody
you
right
still
there
have
with
about a
him
5 or 6
on
car
the lead
pack.
lap. This Pepsi 400 far from over.
Craven still 9th. Mayfield 3rd from starting 25th. Fantastic. Now you got a jumbled up lineup.
Welcome back to Daytona. This TNN Motorsports race summary is sponsored by Budweiser. Average speed having dropped now with that slight caution for rain. 2 of the 4 caution periods have been for rain. And there you see those in the garage. You can also add to that list Kenny Wallace, who has taken his machine, and now Rich Bickle officially out for the evening. Glad you're with us here on TNN Motorsports. Tomorrow, the NASCAR
First time you've seen this race. Hope you're enjoying it, Tanya.
From Mesa Marin Raceway, Bakersfield.
Yeah, we do need to do this more
also.
often. I'm enjoying this. Any other races you guys like? If you don't mention it in the chat tonight, definitely mention it on Twitter at LastCar on Brock. And yeah, we'll do some more of these. As long as NASCAR Classics is cool with them, we'll just do some hangouts.
Chad Little,
I enjoyed digging into the history of this one a bit too.
That's a Thunderbird.
And you know, believe it or not, for the luck Jack Roush has had on the restrictor plate racetracks this year, the 3 races run so far, Chad Little has been his top driver in 2 out of the 3, his 7th and an 8th.
Kenny Irwin at the head of that pack right there.
I figured watching it at night would be a good time to do it, so I didn't want to wait till Sunday.
12th. Irwin is at 13th. There's Chad Little. Up front, meanwhile, they're closing in on Gordon.
Earnhardt getting right by these guys, but Nadeau's still up there.
Pack of traffic here. Now just 3 1/10 seconds behind Gordon. They were 4.5 seconds back a while ago. Wanted to break loose there on the low side of turn 4, didn't he?
Yeah, he's kind of going with one of those more aggressive setups in the car, and it's definitely white knuckle time.
And it's also a Thunderbird, as you said a while back, Eli. And those cars normally are great race cars in a race, but right now they're not faring too well, as you see Jimmy Spencer dropping another spot.
And there's the spread from that pack down what they call the super stretch, the back straightaway, up to Jeff Gordon. That's what 2.8 seconds looks like on this Daytona International Speedway.
Terry Labonte taking a look on the outside there in the 5 car. You see him on the high line there. His brother directly behind him. These guys are wanting to rumble right now.
You see that computer address. You can log on, get the onboard
looking up
pictures.
Things that Jerry Nadeau's Scooby-Doo paint scheme right here.
There you go. TNNRacing.com. Check it out. It's available to you on the World Wide Web right now.
Some of these are a bit pricey, but if you're looking for that in your collection, that paint scheme is definitely, there's a lot of places to have it.
Schrader hanging in, Ward Burton in a good run. Raven back up to 9th.
Watch a Bristol race from before the repay. Big G, that's a good suggestion.
Spare a draft.
Very good.
Neither one ever won here at Daytona.
Terry Labonte ahead of Bobby Labonte.
There you go, Daniel. Yeah, a lot of significant moments in this.
Of course, Bobby Labonte has posted 3 top 10s in the last 4 races.
Got everybody locked down in the main draft here.
The front group right here run nose to tail. Just behind them, Mark Martin is a little interval between these guys. He kind of broke.
It's good we're doing a TNN one. I don't think we've done a TNN race in a while.
Coming up.
And realistically, if Martin can pull down a top 10 on a big track like this, I think he'll take it and head back to the house, please.
Oh, yeah. After the year he's had on the restrictor plate tracks.
You see him. He's begging them to stay in line. Don't make it too wide here. We're catching the leaders right now. You're looking back at Mike Skinner going into turn 3, keeping a very low line right down on the white line around the corner.
22 laps to settle it.
97 Spring Bristol, that sounds good. Pick a different year, get different stories.
38. Still anybody's race. Back in a moment.
92 Bristol night race, that's another good one. Anything 2001, we're going to hold off on that just because that's going to be in 500 days, but other seasons, yeah.
That's never a good sight. The caution is out here at Daytona. An accident on the back straightaway multi-car involving Spencer, Kenny Irwin, John Andretti, that man, Steve Park, Jerry Nadeau, Ricky Rudd,
got Nadeau,
among others. Irwin's car right there, taking the worst
my goodness.
of the lick.
Took out 3 of the rookies. The 4th one was already in the other wreck.
He was already talking to his crew on the radio. We were eavesdropping.
How much damage did Nadeau get?
Far from pleased, as you can expect. He had a super run going.
So disappointing to put your heart and soul into what you're doing and then have a problem.
That's Steve Park through the silhouette look. There's Spencer.
Ooh, yeah.
You see the
puckered that fender
flap
pretty
having
good.
Deployed there.
Also, the right front corner has damage on it.
Andretti got a piece?
Andretti got a piece of it.
No, the left rear's bowed out a little bit. It's not
Come
good.
on, buddy. Come on.
Like John may have been hit from behind because the left rear
behind him
been out just a little bit.
I told you Ricky Rudd was involved.
Stop in the box, buddy.
I got Rudd too. Man, it's got like all my favorites in it.
Got 10-4.
Oh, that's not good.
Nose of the Taurus.
Shoved that in pretty good. See if we get a replay here. Oh, Jerry's is tore up bad.
He was involved.
Oh, that sucks.
A lot of damage to Nadeau's car.
Ricky Craven.
Yeah, more 500 Days episodes coming. I'll work on the next couple episodes. Also got a interview I finished for next Rise of the Field fillers.
Of that car.
I'd love to record 2 or 3 scripts together and just kind of focus on
Let's
editing
take a look at
those
what happened
while I research
to
something
bring out
else.
this
That's what I'm
fifth
hoping to
caution.
do. Yeah, it's going.
Irwin
Oh, he
and
just
Little.
got turned by
Chad
Little.
and the
Oh, my
97
goodness.
got into the back there of the 28.
And it's just
barely.
on. Oh,
Looked like
there
the
you
28
go.
was trying to get by him. They were side by side when that all started.
I just
and it
can't
looked
see
like
anything.
2 guys trying for the same spot.
Ooh, there goes Rudd getting
Of course,
kicked to the
remember, Steve
inside.
Park has an onboard camera. Let's see what we can see here.
See where Jerry got in it there. It's getting Marcus got in, or Ray Rudd just got in the back of him. Tried to back off, but
He had nowhere to go, and he just took a shot.
Again.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And again. And again. And again.
Oh, man.
That hit.
Steve Burns, Robert Yates, and those guys have to be crestfallen after the great run that Irwin was having.
Yeah, Eli and Robert
they
Yates
gotta get
just
on the
watched the
flatbed.
replays. First of all, have you talked to your driver, Kenny Irwin?
Yeah, he's okay. You know, he's certainly discussed it a little bit with what happened, but you know, he was getting ready to go with the 99 and pull up, and there was a gap, and by the time you know, he made his move to get up, you know, there wasn't enough room there. So something we learned. We'll be better next time. We had a good car, great car.
Tough break for Robert Yates.
I guess all the T-birds are out, right?
Right there, a tough break
Well, I
for
guess
Robert Yates racing.
depending on how much damage Little
Steve
has
Park,
and Spencer.
They're going to bring that Pennzoil
Trickle missed the show.
Chevy
Standridge
back
was
towards the
last.
garage area.
Bickle is
Rich Ray
out.
Throwing a bit now. Billy Standridge, Jeff Bodine, Kevin LePage, Hut Strickland, Rich Bickle, Derek Cope, Dan Pardis, Kenny Wallace, Kenny Irwin. You saw Steve Park, and there's Dale Earnhardt back in again, Mike Hockwood.
Rest in peace, Robert
That
Yates,
nose
for
that they
sure.
put on, it's taped on, and it keeps caving in a little bit. You see him going back to work on it. They're going to try to put some bolts in it and to give it a little more stability. Dale Earnhardt says the car is great as they put 4 new tires on it. Now it's a question of time. Does he have enough time to move back up through the field?
I don't know. That
I'll
nose
tell you
was,
one thing
that
he
tire
does have.
did
He
so
has
much
the
damage.
advantage having fresh tires
Look at that.
on
You got
that
the
race car.
the
If that
DOT
nose is
graphics there on the
back in,
even the
you
nose
can
of
see
the
how
car.
flimsy it is as
Kinda
he hits
blends
it
into
with
the
his
scheme
hand
pretty
there,
well.
trying to get the tape to really stick well on that front part of Dale Earnhardt's car.
There's not a lot of structural integrity in tape, though. And it just, it's real wobbly.
Hey, you guys have any pets at home?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have
You
2 wonderful dogs.
I've seen your shop dog. We've got a dog and a cat. Well,
it's not a shop. It's
Bill
airspeed.
France Jr., I think, has us all beat. A Clydesdale. And it's also sharing his name. Take a look at this.
For all of those 50 years, the France family has stood as a symbol of character, strength, determination, and leadership of NASCAR. Bill, on behalf of Budweiser, it is my pleasure to present to you your namesake, Bill Jr., a 4-month-old Clydesdale foal. Bill, congratulations.
You got a horse. Aw.
Thank you, Tony. And when we first discussed the naming the horse Bill Jr., first thought through my mind was that I've seen the Clydesdales before, is how much, and be careful, how much they eat. Thank you very much.
He's got to be careful. I love that. Yes, we are, Mike G. We are taking requests for future classic races. We got several good ideas so far.
Bartender said, "Hey, buddy, why the long face?"
Yeah, probably not 2001 just because that's 500 days.
Yeah,
We got 97 Bristol, 98 Rockingham. I see 92 Bristol night race.
And that was 4 months old, the size of a normal horse.
Very diplomatic, I thought, too.
And then there's Glenn Jarrett, who I'm sure wants to jump in on this scintillating discussion.
Well, I'm not going to jump on the horse, but you know, I did have a pet until about 60 laps ago.
Was that your?
That was Louis. That was Louis the Lizard, and he's gone.
No, see, Budweiser Lizards were still trending back then, too.
We're at lap 144 of 160. The Pepsi 400 down to its final laps. Don't you dare leave us. We're back in a moment.
Can Ricky Craven get back in the top 10? Let's see.
16 lead changes among Jarrett and Earnhardt and Wallace and Marcus.
86
and
Richmond's
Jeff Gordon
good.
and Bobby
87
Labonte.
Riverside is
Jeff
good.
Burton has led. So too has
Maybe we'll
Kenny
put up a
Irwin.
poll or something.
Those drivers
99
all
Vegas.
done for the night. From early engine failure for Billy Standridge to Derek Cope tagging the wall. to engine failures. That is the attrition list here in the Pepsi 400 at the World Center of Racing. Next week, Phoenix International Raceway. The Winston Cup Series will be there, and so too will we. Then on to the North Carolina Speedway in Rockingham for the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. And again, TNN Motorsports will be there. Then the season winds down at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. It's amazing. Seems like we were just here for Speed Weeks, doesn't it? I mean, this year just flies by.
And they go by faster and faster, it seems, as time goes by.
Yeah, the older you get, the quicker it goes.
Yeah, it's true. Meanwhile, Earnhardt is pitted yet again.
Earnhardt, they're working on his car. Reason we're under caution. Again, this is what happened back in lap 140.
At Motegi.
Panning ahead to Kenny Irwin right there.
Yeah,
with
lots of good
Chad
options.
Little.
Oh, man, that's Irwin just had nothing he could do there.
Almost.
John Andretti gets tagged there, turned to the infield. You can see the dirt
Marcus
fly.
might have got a piece of that. Somebody got wrecked right in front of him.
Remember what Earnhardt said about the helmet, about how
both
he can
Andretti
feel
and
the air? Well, that would help you in a situation like this, knowing when you're by.
Earnhardt, he was the first car by that wreck on the low side there. Bill Elliott sneaks by.
Oof, that's where Parker
Dave
got in.
Marcus got through. Dave's running 24th with a Richard
You have to
Childress
roll those
power plant
arrows.
in the Real Tree machine. And again, Steve Park's view.
Oh!
He never saw him, but he hit that 28 head on.
Meanwhile, Kenny Irwin's just come from the infield care center. Mike Hogwood, you hate to see it in this situation. What a great run he had going.
A super run. Kenny, maybe your best run of the year going, and I know you're heartbroken at the way it ends here.
Man, we just, we had a, I don't know if we had a winning car, but we definitely had a top running car. We had to lead some laps, and then we cut a left rear tire down and had to pit. But, that's, it's fun running up front. It's just too bad we got in that altercation off of 2.
What happened?
I just thought I was clear and moved up.
Is that
and I just didn't
Pockris
get
to the
the
left?
97 anywhere
Oh, that's
to go.
got to be. Look at that.
Just, I'm real sorry for everybody that got involved in that deal.
Well, Kenny Irwin, one of the bright young drivers, we saw a glimpse, I think, of his potential here.
Time traveling Bob.
No doubt about it. We've seen him from the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and
There you
move
go.
on towards NASCAR Winston Cup Racing. He's
Small world.
of course getting down to finish it here. Final 14 laps. Drafting is going to be the story.
Thank you, Lucas. Thank you for
see
tuning in.
exactly who pairs
Up
off
to almost
with whom
150 people here. Fantastic. I wasn't
as
expecting
they
hardly
get set
anybody
to
on
go.
this one,
Fans
so I
have
appreciate
loved
it.
this entire weekend. Not a seat to be had.
You like some more racing content,
got
definitely
6,000 new
consider
seats being
subscribing and
built on
checking
the
out the
Winston
stuff on the
Tower.
channel here.
They'll be ready for Speed Weeks 1999. All right.
You ready?
Here we go.
Okay, pace car is in. Green flag, green flag.
You can't even see the outside line. There's so many people standing against the fence. It's like Benson was running by himself, but there's 4 cars against the fence.
Johnny Benson not on the lead lap.
Oh, Jarrett's looking hungry.
22nd, the first car allowed now.
Doesn't have his teammate, but he does have 20 laps.
We'll see what Dale Jarrett can do now. He has looked as if he's got the strongest car in the field for quite a while now. Here's his chance.
Well, it's Gordon in the Chevrolet and 3 Fords just behind him.
Never mind that, he's got 13 laps.
And Kenny Schrader in another Chevrolet.
And with Pontiac, Bobby Labonte. Burke's there as well.
Oh, I saw somebody's arm sticking out of the fence. I don't know if you saw that.
You know, it used to be that
Somebody
slingshot
getting a really
move
close
was the way to
view.
go. Of late on the big tracks, it seems as though
Ooh,
you wanna
Skinner
be out
getting
front.
pitched down to the apron.
Slingshot just doesn't seem to even work anymore.
Well,
Mark
we're
Martin
gonna
really
have to wait
blocking
and see
him.
how this plays out, because every once in a while you'll have 2 or 3 cars work together and they can overhaul the leader.
Martin
as
couldn't
Dale
stop
Jarrett
Skinner. He
was
gets
done
by.
About midway of the race, just after he led halfway.
Oh, now Gordon's really under attack. Skinner
Flanking
getting
out
under
3
Ward.
wide on the back straightaway.
Ooh, he's gonna wow! What on earth? Skinner is a rocket
And he
ship.
will
Jarrett
lose
drops
8,
off.
9 positions there.
Oh my goodness!
Look at the 31 of Mike Skinner moving into 4th place there. He was flying down the back
Something's got to
straightaway.
be wrong for Dale Jarrett, guys.
Yeah, Jarrett
He's
just
going
cratered
straight
there.
back. Glenn, what's
Skinner
the
all the way up to third.
Eli's got a flat tire. He's coming in. He's got to come in. So he's got a flat tire. So
terrible luck
for
for the
Cruz on the wall. Don't know yet which one it is, but tough break.
I don't know what it is, Sergeant.
Boy, Skinner capitalized on that perfectly.
There you see MCI presenting NASCAR timing and scoring. Tough break for Jarrett. What a break. A tough break for Robert Gates Racing.
You want to talk about a car on the
Earnhardt
move?
working his way up there. He's right behind Sterling.
Of Earnhardt. He is flying up to there. Kind of caught up in traffic right now behind Sterling Marlin.
That's
11
15th
to go.
and 16th. Marlin
Time
and
to
Earnhardt.
go.
Spencer still on the lead lap at 18th. That's that red and white number 23.
Oh, yeah, this Ricky Craven's still like 5th on the inside line, right ahead of Earnhardt.
More than a bit frightening when these green flags come out
Andretti.
and all these cars are so close together.
Ooh, Mayfield trying something.
Oh, Dale Jarrett will not make it 2 wins in as many weeks. Losing the left front.
Oh, it's tight now.
Cut down as he now makes his way to pit road. Look how close this racing is.
Mark Martin looking right in the back quarter panel there. Terry Labonte in front of him. You see Ricky Craven in the 36 just to the left there in that wild paint job.
He made several pit stops on that caution flag. Skinner very aggressive at this point in the
Skinner
race.
almost had Mayfield there for second. He's stuck with one of the two Penske guys.
They didn't miss by much.
Schrader working the high lane. He's got Bobby Labonte behind him.
Jeremy Mayfield sitting there in second right now. He's thinking about maybe making a move right now. I think they're trying to break away from this group running side by side just behind them.
It's time to go. No friends, no teammates now. Every man for himself.
Jarrett
Mayfield clears. Looks like Schrader there.
After the unscheduled pit stop. Ted Musgrave goes to the garage. His day is done. And the drafting is going to tell the story of how
close
this Pepsi
there.
400 plays out. It's a key
I guess
element.
it's Jarrett's lap car
We
there.
asked some of the top drivers in that pack how they're going to handle it.
So you make your friends throughout the day, and there is a degree of loyalty, but
Hey there, Jonathan.
So much
Hope you're enjoying it. Glad you are.
It's every man for himself, and you can only help each other for so long, and then you got to go do what you got to do.
You go in saying, hey, I'm going to try to work with you as much as I can, but I can't control every situation that happens out there. But then when it comes down to 5 or 10 to go, we're all on our own. And that's kind of what we saw at Talladega, and I'm sure we'll see the same thing here.
Comes Spencer. Oh, there's debris coming off somebody. Seeing the stuff kicking around in the backstretch.
Fireworks planned after the race. Let's see what kind of fireworks we have as the race winds down.
Spencer was 3 wide again on the backstretch. He was on the bottom of that thing.
Earnhardt's all the way up to 14th from dead last. He was the last car on that group right there. You see him looking over the back panels there. Mark Martin down into the corner they go.
Look at
Spencer.
Look at Spencer
Oh,
going
my
inside
goodness.
of Bobby Hamilton. All of that is for position here. Hamilton in the Kodak car.
Great battle for 13.
Spencer in 14th. He'll pass them both. He'll pass Hamilton and Earnhardt.
Well, Earnhardt, you can see the tape on the nose of that car. Still does not have it like he wanted.
Ooh, Spencer getting close to Andretti. Almost hooked him.
5 car Labonte, that's 8th spot.
Got a ways to catch the leaders.
Caution, caution for rain. There's a rain shower
No!
again in turns 3 and 4. Caution on the speedway. Here they come to the stripe. Lap 154 goes up on the board at 160. Caution for another rain shower here at the World Center of Racing. The third little shower we have seen here.
The World Center of Raining.
This is now 5 laps from the finish.
It's not got a lot of time to quit raining for everybody behind that 24 car.
Dang, that's too bad. That was getting really good.
Rain is intensifying. 5 laps from
Unbelievable.
the finish of the Pepsi 400.
Boy, that is goodness.
On July 4th, 1981, Harry Gant was looking for his first NASCAR Winston Cup win. He held the point for 22 laps, leading up to the final trip down the backstretch. Cale Yarborough, again using an old slingshot move to push his Buick into the lead. And on to victory lane. Relegated Harry Gant to his 7th second-place finish in 17 super speedway starts. Well, we are
goodness,
under
that's not
a
good.
red flag here at Daytona. They have put the red flag out some 37 seconds ago for rain, with 5 laps remaining to settle the Pepsi 400.
Does it show all the rain delay
Buddy, you're
coverage?
sitting
Is that what's
there
happening?
going, my goodness. I mean, what a night. What do these guys feel like now?
Well, can you believe it? 5 laps to go. Jeff Gordon saying, hey,
You'll
it's
get the
never
icon
going to
off the
quit
screen. There you
raining.
go.
He's leading the
That
race.
explains
Of
where all
course,
the rest of
everyone
this
behind him saying,
broadcast
he
comes
did
from.
the right thing, believe me. Stop it right now. Give everybody a shot at this win.
Through Jeff's windshield, looking
Through.
forward, you can see a crew member from every team coming out. They stopped
Oh, they're all
the
running
cars
all the way to the
off of
entrance
turn
of pit
4.
road.
And NASCAR is allowing 1 crew member from each team to go out there and do nothing but cover the car, cover the windshield, and if the driver so desires, get out of the race car.
Eli, you can see right on the front of Gordon's car. Now they're going to cover it up, but the first thing they wanted to make sure is water didn't run in the backside of the air cleaner there. This part right in there where they had that little deal on there, you see they covered that up so water couldn't run down into the carburetor area.
So the red flag is out as part of the 3rd caution of the day.
Oh, we're
brought
staying
out
to the
by
finish, folks.
rain. Crew chiefs now have to just wait it out with
About
everybody.
another
Got a heavy storm, as
half
you
hour,
see,
it
but
looks
rain
like, in the
nevertheless.
broadcast coverage here.
Glenn, it's frustrating sometimes, isn't it?
Well, it is. All they can do is wait now. Move down to Jeremy Mayfield's pit and going to
Hey,
talk
Paul
to Paul
Andrews.
Andrews. Paul, you guys were awfully strong here in February. You got a good race car, but, man, you got Chevys in front of you and Chevys behind you.
It's all right. We got a teammate behind us, too, you know. It's going to be dog-eat-dog world here in a few minutes, you know, when they drop this green. Hopefully we get to go, and I'd like to finish on the green. I'm sure everybody else would, too. You know, but that's all right. We're up here. We got, you know, kind of the 6 of us broke away. I'm sure once we drop this off here, it won't be 6. It'll be like probably 26. But, you know, we're going to have a good finish no matter what.
One more quick question. Have you talked about when to make the move?
Not yet. I mean, that's what we're getting ready to do right now while everything's kind of calmed down here.
Okay, let's go further down pit road.
Okay, Glenn, we've got Ray Evernham here. Ray, first of all, what is this going to do to your race car?
Get it wet.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
There you go.
You know, as long as it doesn't get in the motor, it seems to have blown over already, and really shouldn't do anything. You know, hopefully motor, everything will be fine. You know, when you shut them off, sometimes it's not good, but you know, with the lower compression, everything's been real good.
All right, so how about the driver? Have you talked to that guy?
Yeah, he's doing a real good job. You know, he's got a bunch of guys on his butt there that are looking to get by him, and it's going to be tough. Always is tough on a restart.
You can see Jeremy Mayfield with the blonde hair there.
Ray, I was looking at the stats before the race, and you guys have put up
It's like
some
an action
unbelievable
figure.
numbers. 16 consecutive top 5 finishes, and your average finish has been 2nd in that streak.
Yeah, you know, we've got a great driver and we've got a great race team, but we've had a lot of great luck too, and I just hope it holds out tonight. You know, no matter how good you are, you've got to have that luck factor in there. And you know, like last week, you know, I'd like to tell you that we had a real great day and we were a big part of it, but all we were was prepared when other people had bad luck, and we had good luck, and hopefully we can have some more good luck and get this finished tonight nice and safe.
All right, it looks like we can put those umbrellas away. It's quit raining down here, guys.
Well, that's certainly good news right there.
What a bizarre series
I
of
have
rain
finally
starts.
figured it
Florida.
out. I have figured out who Jeremy Mayfield looks like with his platinum blonde hair. He looks like Dolph Lundgren, the actor in one of those Rocky movies, like Rocky 97 or whatever the heck it was.
That's Peter Suspenzo right there on the right-hand side, just walked out. You see his hair is exactly the same color. As a matter of fact, everybody on that crew looks the same way.
Well, they decided to dye the hair before he won at Pocono, and then after he won at Pocono, he thought about maybe changing the color of it, but Jeremy left it alone, and then when he didn't win again, it went to white.
Now, what are they talking about? Are they making deals? Are they telling jokes? Are they comparing
You
notes?
see this guy right here? That's Kenny Schrader. It cannot mean much if he's in on it. Believe me, he likes to start stuff with everybody. Right now, he's telling them, boys, I got you. I believe he'll go back under the green.
Skinner says, I don't want to listen. Jeff Gordon says, I've heard it all before. Rusty says, I don't believe what's going on here. And Schrader's still talking. We're back with more from the World Center of Racing in just a moment as the Pepsi 400 for the first time under the lights is now also under some raindrops.
Yeah, kind of an interesting way for this all to shake out, getting the last few laps in.
There you see the red flag for rain, light rain, but enough to put a temporary halt on this Pepsi 400.
That cover makes Gordon's car look more like a 95 Monte Carlo.
From the finish.
Oh, he didn't change it for
The man who is
those
leading
years.
this event has led many a race this year. He, of course, is Jeff Gordon, who most recently took the lead at lap 123. And what a year for Jeff Gordon. 20 top 5 finishes in the last 21 races.
Not in that Richmond race. Rusty took care of that one.
Top 5s in 1998. And the wins just keep on coming. And tonight, he passed Dale Jarrett, took the lead. He moved around Dale Earnhardt and took the lead. He bypassed Kenny Irwin at lap 123 and took the lead.
23.
He still holds. He has led 43 laps tonight. There you see those who have won the Pepsi 400, gone on to win the NASCAR Winston Cup title in the same year. Of course, Jeff has also picked up 5 more points now.
Just
He's
some great
led the most laps today.
style back then.
43 of
My
those
goodness.
to Earnhardt's 41. As we wait out this little rain delay. There is the guy they call
Young Jack Roush.
Jack Roush.
I want to straighten out a little thing that was said on a broadcast earlier, and everybody knows that Jack Roush and the Hendricks bunch had a little problem midway of the season this year. But Jack Roush, this hat was reported to me that somebody had a $500 bounty on that hat. They wanted to put it on the Indian there in the shop. Jeff Gordon, that's incorrect. That was told to me by a guy that works on another team that was trying to stir up problems. And there was no truth to it.
Well, we're glad we're able to straighten that out here this evening as Jack Roush looks out, waits out the rain delay. Richard Childress and Larry McReynolds talking things over. Strategies.
Wow, not a lot of the
playing
top
out
10 has led tonight.
in the final few laps of the Pepsi 400. Eli Gold, Buddy Baker, Dick Berggren, Glenn Jarrett, Steve Burns, and the Hog, Mike Hogwood, down on the pit lane.
Well, the commercial, taking out the commercials definitely trims down the waiting time quite a bit.
Drying.
Hey,
There's a
they're
guy
back.
you'll be seeing on this same station again tomorrow. Larry McReynolds
America's
is going to be
crew
heading
chief.
to Nashville for some coverage for TNN Motorsports. So let's get a word with him.
Yeah, but before he heads to Nashville, he's going to try to get his driver into victory lane here tonight. What's the plan here, Lee?
Well, you know, there is no plan. You know, we're going to probably have 2 or 3 laps of racing, Mike. And I went through the wheeling and dealing last week at Talladega, and that didn't work. So it's like the heck with everybody. We're going to do what we got to do here, and hopefully we'll pick the right hole and the right line to go with. You know, a while ago I was thinking there's this little part of me. It's like, Self, you really struggled tonight, the middle part of the race. You're sitting there third. Maybe it ought to just keep raining, but you know what? We come here to win this race, and if we win this thing or run third or we end up 8th, we're going to go down swinging on this thing.
One thing I noticed is you just made Richard Childress a Lowe's crew member on the 31 car.
Well, you know, he wanted to go talk to Mike, and they're only letting 1 crew member per car down there, so I, you know, orientate him. You're now a crew member of the Lowe's team, so let him go down there and talk to Mike.
What
You know,
changes
Richard's
and
seen a lot of
stays
situations.
the same.
His years as a driver and as a car owner, and I think he's just got some things he wants to say to Mike and tell him here with probably a 3-lap shootout.
Larry McReynolds, Richard Childress are going to do their best to get Mike Skinner into victory lane.
Now, while that serious stuff goes on and the drivers share a thought or two, let's move on to the social calendar of the air. When last we saw Tony Lumley, he was contemplating marriage. Glenn Jarrett, as always, is in the middle, helping orchestrate it all.
Well, Eli, I don't normally get involved in matters of the heart. You know that I've avoided marriage like the plague. But
certainly,
Tony Lumley, he's the tire specialist on the 18 car of Bobby Labonte, has decided that he wants to marry Jennifer Nix. Jennifer, in Concord, North Carolina, if you're looking, this guy wants to take you for his lawfully wedded wife. Tony, I just have one question. Man, are you sure about this?
She's my best friend.
She's his best friend. Well, Tony, I got a best friend. I don't want to marry her.
Well, that's a good thing, Glenn, because I sure want to marry my best friend.
Well, it's a good thing I don't want to marry my best friend because, Eli, that's you.
You talk about strange bedfellows. There is a classic example. Well, the drivers are talking things over. There's Larry McReynolds' crew member there in the middle.
2012
Richard
Daytona
talking
500
to Mike
flashback.
Skinner. Track drying is underway. We're close
No air
to
tighten,
resuming.
just a couple of
And
air dryers in the corner there.
The Pepsi 400 play out.
Yeah, they'll be done roughly by 2003.
Welcome back to TNN Motorsports.
Oh,
coverage
there's the replay of that. Wow, my God.
Lap 32. Kevin LePage lost control of his car coming
Man,
off the number 2
LePage
corner.
just
Caught
wiped
up a number
out
of
there.
drivers, including Wally
Holy
Dallenbach,
cow.
who found the wall on the back straightaway. Lap 106,
Savage.
Daytona Beach's own Dan Pardis in his Winston Cup debut had problems. Then Kenny Irwin tried to get back in line. Didn't give Chad little enough room at lap number 140 and triggered that multi-car accident. Steve Hart got caught up in it as well. And you are now caught up to date on the Pepsi 400 here at the World Center of Racing. Delayed by a rain shower.
There's so much personality in this.
Rain
This is
at lap
wonderful.
13.
I'm just kind of most of
caution for
sit
3
back
laps.
and watch it.
We had rain again at lap 122. That stopped the action for 4
That'll
laps
do it.
while the track dried. But this time around at lap 155, the rain is a little bit too intense. And they have to park the cars, bring out the jet dryers that you hear
Nobody's
whirring
gone
in
anywhere.
the background. And we will be set to play out the final 5 laps here in just a short while. Jeff Gordon is the race leader. Most recently took over the top spot at lap 123 and has not looked back since. And let's see how everybody's looking at it. Chevy Ford, couple of Pontiacs. No clear-cut domination here tonight.
Pretty good parity, I'd say. You can see all the cars very.
Jerry's still 20th despite that damage.
I want to give a call to Ward Burton. He's done a great job
Ward
of keeping
Burton.
himself right up in there. Bill Davis and Ward Burton have done a great job. Finished second in Charlotte. Now look at him right up there in contention.
New crew chief Tommy Baldwin, and Bill Davis says that what he has brought to that operation is a ton of enthusiasm.
It's
and Ward
helped.
Burton's got a lot of confidence in him and wants to prove himself to the new crew chief, and Tommy Baldwin wants to get the job done there as well, and they've had a string of good runs.
Satellite feed would be good. I just like these NASCAR Classics ones because the video quality is so good. But we could do it. If we had a good video quality one, we could pull one up on YouTube or something and do that. Not against it.
Looks as though it is dry.
Steer loader.
Of course, normally if it's wet, it gets the dark color, and the light gray indicates it's pretty well dry. See Rusty there riding with Buster Auten. Buster behind the wheel, and you can just make out Rusty's driving suit.
They did the same thing last night.
Now
when
he's getting out and really put his hand right down on the
do the Parker
racing
Kligerman
surface
thing.
and
Here
say,
it comes.
yeah,
There we
maybe.
go.
Well,
either that or he found a penny and he dropped it. No, he's in all seriousness, he's making sure that the track is bone dry.
Well, he's not wiping his hands off, so I guess it's good.
Of course, they have the jet dryers. So, and clearly we have lights, so there's no rush to get
Bob, do we have lights?
This race in. It will be run to
Can't
its
use Twitter. We got to
conclusion
use
here tonight. Of
back
course,
then you
back
have
in
to use,
1996, the Pepsi 400
barely even had email.
was shortened by rain. Coming up tomorrow on TNN Motorsports, the NASCAR All-Pro Series gathering for their annual war at Nashville Speedway, USA.
Sick.
It is the Greased Lightning 400 live tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TNN Motorsports. Told you Larry Mack's going to be on hand.
All-Pro Series. I remember
bring
more
the
like
action to
ASA
you.
and
And
stuff
also
on
tomorrow
TNN,
here
Rick
on
Benjamin
TNN
and stuff.
Motorsports, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. And their great point battle going on to Mesa Marin Raceway in Bakersfield, California.
There we
Jack
go.
Sprague leading Ron Hornaday by just 18 points. Don't miss it. The Dodge Truck
right, still
Stop
October,
300
so you got
tomorrow at
championship
5
races.
p.m. Eastern. Only here
Angel
on
Fire.
TNN
Yeah, there you go,
Motorsports.
on
Ken
Rockin'.
Squire out on the left coast to help bring the action to you tomorrow. So a busy
Look it up on
doubleheader day
Lycos.
for you on TNN Motorsports tomorrow. There is Ken Schrader, 5th
There
in
he
the
is.
running order right now in the Skoal Bandit Chevrolet.
Looks like a bunch of dryer lint stuffed in the air cleaner.
He runs well on the big tracks, but he's not had a smooth year, certainly. Talladega, April, had a problem. Pocono in June, tangled with Dale Earnhardt. Loudon, August, Rusty Wallace and Schrader got together.
Stop wrecking Kenny Schrader.
For the Skoll bunch, but he's having a good night tonight.
He is having a great run tonight, and Kenny Schrader probably wins as many races as anyone. He hadn't won since 1991, as we well know, but let me tell you, anytime he crawls through a window of any race car, this guy
yeah, very
win,
nice looking 33.
He
Look
loves
at that
this
scheme.
racetrack,
Gorgeous.
so I wouldn't count him out by any means.
I think I've diecast that somewhere.
He hasn't won Winston Cup since 1991, but he sure has won a whole lot of other stuff, including a big race out in Phoenix at the Copper Classic. He's got a Winston West win, a whole bunch of wins on the dirt tracks as well. He has amassed one of the more enviable records.
Looks like drivers to their cars.
Boy, this looks good.
Yeah, well, no, now it.
They went to the started to go to the cars.
Steve Peterson now says, Dale, don't do that and tell the guys to get into the cars. It's not time yet, but it is going to hang out down there. And
well, one of the things that's going to help us get this thing going is we've got a very good wind blowing tonight, and Steve's waving them on now. The flags are right out straight, and that'll help drive this big speedway up quickly.
Eli, it's hard to sit.
Everybody looks so young. Yeah, I agree. Big G, that's exactly
always
it.
Helps to dry it.
Others now all dried out. Fans have taken off their rain gear. There's Bobby Labonte getting set to get back to work in the Interstate Batteries machine. He's running
Here's our Bobby Labonte
right
package.
now, and of course this year has been a good one for that driver from Texas. April 26th of this season, Talladega Superspeedway. Bobby Labonte goes to victory lane. He'll try and duplicate that here today if he can from 7th spot. You see how he is done.
How he is done.
You can tell very vividly the ups and downs. Not a good weekend in California. Charlotte was not good, but very few low spots.
Well, you point out Charlotte. Yes, he wrecked there, but you know he was going for the lead and
Exactly.
got in some oil there and backed the car into the wall.
See Bobby climbing aboard the car now.
The Montgomery Ward on the sponsor there too. Man, there's some throwbacks
Hopefully
there
we're
too.
closing in on the restart and the final
Just
5
either companies
laps
don't exist anymore, just ones
of the
aren't even
Pepsi
partners in the
400.
sport anymore.
Don't go away. We're back in a moment.
I'm hyped. I don't know if you
Jerry
are. This is going to get
Nadeau
good.
has already come
Oh, we're
down
rolling
pit
again.
road. He was the last
Yes.
car on the lap. Might as well come in anyway. Jeremy Mayfield is in 2nd place. Every single
Throw to the
fan
throw
has
to the body
stayed here at
package,
Daytona
Eli.
Beach, Florida.
Bam.
We have had a rain delay 3 times tonight.
You mean
2 were
3
quickies.
times?
This last one, though, was a red flag.
A
for
red
nearly
flag for
40
3
minutes.
times.
But it has not dampened anything in the enthusiasm department. There's Mark Martin. He's in 10th.
See him put it up in 3rd gear there. That's to keep from fouling out spark plugs. You don't want to make it run too light around here. Maybe foul out a plug.
Bobby Labonte is in 7th. You see Ward Burton ahead of him in 6th.
Okay. Does anybody
And
have
Jeff Gordon, the race
anything
leader.
left for Wonder Boy?
Right behind Buster Otten. Now remember, too, we are inside 10 laps to go.
That means single file
NASCAR
drop finger
has a
restart.
10-lap rule. Only the drivers on the lead lap can start near the front, and it will be a single file restart.
There it is.
So the 20 drivers on the lead lap
The fun rules.
will be able to battle it out amongst themselves to settle the 1998 Pepsi 400.
I think a good portion of this, yeah.
Sterling Marlin and Bobby Hamilton will pit.
Oh, he's going to be
Think about
fun.
all the months of preparation for these 4 restrictor plate races.
People
and this one
still
is gonna
standing
come
by the
down to just
fence.
a few
Look at
laps
that.
to decide
Oh
who's
my
gonna win.
goodness. It's like an actual crowd.
Sterling going with 4 fresh tires.
I agree that that's not the best silver bullet scheme. I mean, 2001 was way better. And on a Dodge, too.
Bobby Hamilton.
Hard to go wrong with the classic like the Kodak car, though.
4 tires from the Kodak crew.
Might as well.
Nothing to lose.
Nope. They were both at the tail end.
Mayfield in 2nd.
Oh,
There's
Missy.
Mike Skinner. Could be the wild card in all of this. He has not led tonight. There's Rusty Wallace. He led early.
Back when Kmart had so much money they could
And
sponsor 2
Schrader
cars.
has not
Exactly,
led.
yeah.
Nor is Ward Burton. Bobby Labonte. He has led a couple of times.
Labonte.
Brother Terry Labonte has not.
He does say that in a very fun way. I like that.
Super run for Ricky
It's just the
Craven,
neon
Ernie
yellow
Irvin's
numbers. Yeah, Big G. Yeah, you're right.
After
Yeah.
Ernie
Well, the
started
orange looks better
the race,
because it's more like the color of the
yielded to
Coors
Craven
logo.
in lap 14.
At least by 01.
Jeff Burton, Chad Little.
A lot of tape on that
all on the lead lap,
Thunderbird.
14th and 15th.
Eli, as they come down for the restart here, there's one thing you can't do with the car
Pretty
on the
tattered
lead
field
as they
here
come
for the
down
finish.
the green flag. You have to pass on the outside. You can't go under a guy. to
Yeah,
pass
Jerry.
the finish
Woo!
line.
Still going. Oh, this is solid. This is a very solid race. And look, they're even still trying to get the finish in.
The crowd has been eating it up all evening long. We're set to settle it.
Okay.
Buster Otten will pull off the pace car.
Ready. It'll be 3 to go when you get the green. 3 to go.
All right.
Okay, pace car is in. Get ready.
See if Jeremy has anything for him, or Mike Skinner, or Rusty, or Kenny.
Green flag. Green flag.
Oh man, Mayfield's got a really, really good start.
To settle the Pepsi 400.
He's got no help, but Skinner might get a run on him. Oh,
Takes
Bobby's
them
coming.
2 full laps to get up the speed.
Skinner had dropped back a bit, a good bit of distance between himself and Jeremy Mayfield on that start.
But he'll make it up in this corner because there's one thing when you're building up speed, you can really pull back on a car. You give a little distance like that. As you see, he's pulled into less than a half a car left. Back here, they're battling side by side.
Oh boy, Terry's coming. Holy crap. What a shot.
200 miles an hour down the back straightaway.
I don't know what that was for, but that was coming close.
First time ever at Pocono earlier this year on TNN, trying to duplicate it. Schrader works the low side in 5th place.
Boy, I don't know. I think that lead group got a little bit too far ahead.
Yep, those 3 cars, those 4 cars up front are going to just take off if they keep racing side by side back there.
No, Bobby got clear. Here he comes.
2 laps to go. Gordon from the Hendrick bunch. Mayfield.
Mark trying to do anything.
Mayfield.
Oh, Earnhardt's going to get him.
Teammates as Earnhardt goes 3 wide.
Jeff Burton's going to follow.
Jeff Burton makes the move in 14th spot.
Oh, Earnhardt just hangs on.
Back of the car.
It's going to make Martin back out of it.
Nearly 3 wide into that
Spencer
turn.
almost hooks the car in front of him.
With Mark Martin in 9th.
Oh my goodness. Oh, it's getting tight.
Out of turn 4.
Oh, Mayfield getting squirrely.
Whoa, you see Jeremy looking to the inside, couldn't make the move. Skinner looks to the high side right now. They're trying everything.
Here comes Bobby.
By the mirror right now.
Here comes Skinner.
Oh, Bobby's going to have to thread the needle here.
Side by side behind Gordon.
Right now they're running side by
Oh,
side.
no, Bobby's a rocket ship.
Saying,
Oh,
I love it. He'll try to run in the middle part of the racetrack so one car does not get a great run down the back.
Oh, Mark out the fence.
They mix it up again behind
To the high lane. Skinner can't block both of them.
Mayfield.
Oh, boy.
What a move on the high side, making 3 wide.
He's still got momentum. Here he comes. Cut high. Go high. Come on. Now. Oh, goodness.
Coming to the checkers. Trouble in the back of the pack. The lead and the win. Gordon for the 11th time.
Wheeler's going to hit that a ton. Oh, my goodness.
As he broke out of traffic near the back of the field. The 40th career victory.
Oh, my
and
goodness.
the 11th win of 1998.
What a fantastic
goes to
finish.
Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors. Holding off the challenge of Bobby Labonte, who finishes 2nd. Mike Skinner 3rd. Jeremy Mayfield 4th. Rusty Wallace will finish 5th. 6th goes to Bobby Labonte.
Man, Chad Little hit that a
7th
ton.
is Wardburn. Ricky Craven will finish 8th. Schrader got shuffled back
Boy,
to
Earnhardt's
9th.
in a rush.
And 10th goes to Dale Earnhardt. Jeff Gordon is an 11-time winner this year. Steve Burns is with his crew chief, Ray Evernham.
Well, Ray, you looked awfully calm on top of that pit box. What a finish.
Well, you can't do nothing but I want to thank God first for giving us the opportunity to do this, and really want to thank all the people, all the firefighters, and all the people that worked so hard to get this place back in shape for us and saved it. And thank DuPont, and Pepsi, and Quaker State, and that guy driving that car. He's really awesome. And in case all the news media is talking, it's October and we've won a race.
Congratulations.
I think they do a replay of Chad's wreck.
They have gotten the win.
That did
Meanwhile,
look
Chad
familiar.
Little.
I forgot that was this
You
one
see
too.
him right there.
Oof,
Took
boy.
a mean
Oh,
lick.
yeah.
He shot out
His
of
legs are
traffic.
stiff.
and impacted the inside wall exiting turn 4. The third Daytona win for Jeff Gordon. He won the 1997 Daytona 500.
Yeah, not everyone was a Jeff Gordon fan. That's definitely true.
1998 Pepsi 400s. It's the 14th Chevrolet win of the year, and the 17th consecutive top 5 finish. That is the most in the modern era of NASCAR Winston Cup racing. Mike Skinner comes home third, a superb run, and there you see the NASCAR inspectors checking out the angle of the rear spoilers.
Listen to all the boos. Oh my goodness.
Exactly right. When they pat you on that trunk lid and say, go ahead, you're okay, you know you didn't run the whole night for free.
It's got to be 45 degrees. Anything less than that, and you're in trouble.
For Jeff Gordon, it is his 4th restrictor plate win in his 24th restrictor plate race.
Boy, Bobby Labonte almost had him. It really looked like he had a truckload of momentum on that last lap. That was something.
The hits just keep on coming.
Just came up short like he did in the 500.
Closing in on yet another NASCAR Winston Cup Series championship. His point lead is now 358. That means he only needs to finish 37th or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does.
See, I mean, these back-to-back races just destroyed Martin in the championship. It's unfortunate.
That was 3rd championship in the last 4 years.
I mean, Martin did better in this one, but I mean, after
Glenn
the wreck at
Jarrett is down in
Talladega.
victory lane as the Pepsi 400 has gone to Jeff Gordon. Glenn?
And Eli, Jeff is unbuckling his safety belts and harness there, putting on the cap. Jeff, it was exciting there. I know you were watching that rearview mirror, and awfully glad to see those guys going side by side on that last lap.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. Usually when they get side by side, somebody breaks away and comes after you, and Bobby almost did that. I just got to say thank you to all the guys at the engine shop, Charlie Seegers, Randy Dort, and Chuck Tunes on it, and all the guys back at Hendrick Engines. These last couple of weeks have been the best restrictor plate engines I've ever had. And this DuPont Chevrolet has just been awesome. I want to thank God. Boy, he certainly directed me and guided me all through traffic today. And that last restart, I'm sure he was riding with me.
I have a hard time not picturing Jeff Gordon look like this.
Championship.
I just want everybody to know this is October, baby. Everybody said we couldn't win in October, and we just tried to think, hey, this is a July race in October, and I tell you what, it was just a phenomenal effort by everybody this weekend. My hat's off to Ray Evernham. He just tuned the car perfect. I mean, this thing handled like a dream. Great pit stops by the Rainbow Warriors. And I want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes, Quaker State. This is a Pepsi race. I want to thank them. This is a big day for all of us. And this Monte Carlo right here was awesome.
You took the lead with a lot of laps to go when you came out on that last pit stop there. Did you guys discuss that? Was that what you wanted to do? Get out front and make them pass you?
Well, I think that's just when our fuel window was. I don't think we were getting very good fuel mileage. I think we would like to have come in with a few more guys, but as it turned out, it worked out for us. Jeremy and I worked together real well. He tried to hang with me. I'm not sure where exactly he ended up in that shuffle, but I appreciate him helping me there. And
where is the hat man?
We just
Good
came
question,
in when we had
Bumblebee.
to, and I'll let Ray make those
It's
calls.
probably
He
his
made
arm
some
at the
great
top
calls.
right there.
I wasn't sure if we're going to be able to stay up there, especially when Dale Jarrett was behind me. He was real strong. And, hate to see him have his troubles, but we were able to keep that thing up front. Those restarts, man, they were making me nervous.
Well, he's not too nervous now. 11 wins this year, 17 consecutive top 5 finishes. What a year.
A remarkable year.
Not the hat man, that's somebody
career
else.
wins and finally won in the month of October. And the celebration and the fireworks begin.
I like that, Michael Dye. Very sorry. Yeah, Jeff Gordon rivalry, that was real. I mean, I don't think it was as much of an on-track rivalry, but I mean, definitely within the fan base, I think, for sure. You had Gordon fans, you had people that weren't. And there's
Jeff
Brooke
and
Gordon.
Brooke Gordon look on, and high fives
Brooke
all
Seeley.
around. John Hendrick and the entire Hendrick Motorsports bunch. Now, let's go back to the last lap and take a look again at everything that shook down there. I didn't want to give Chad little short shrift in the problems he had. Let's go back again with Bobby Labonte giving us the view.
Oh, what a great run.
Look at
Oh,
Bobby
man.
go to the outside
Had
into turn
to,
three,
had to.
right by Skinner. Looks like he has a run on Jeff Gordon that he might could close in
Just
there.
petered out or something. I don't know. I thought, I
There's
don't know why he
Schrader
went
trying.
low.
Again, Bobby Labonte makes the move. Couldn't have been more than a car length of an
Go
opportunity
low
there.
for a second and then swing back high. We'll try to get
Watch
under
Chad
him.
now, 3 wide.
Oh, yeah.
Got
Oh.
a little help from behind. It looked like Spencer was there. Don't know
Oh,
how
man,
much
Little
the
was on his
impact
way to like an
was.
8th place
That
finish. He got
was a
taken
big
out.
impact there.
He whacked it big time, didn't he?
Brutal.
Big time is right.
Brutal.
Watch it again.
Here comes Spencer in the red and white car there. Just a little nudge right
Last two
there.
Thunderbirds
just
took
enough
each other
to send
out.
him hard into the inside wall.
Oh, man, that thing wanted to flip, too. Oh, what a hit. You know, Brennan Poole had a
We
hit
saw
like that
Chad
last
climb
year in the
from the
Daytona
car and
race.
walk to the ambulance.
Didn't go nearly that
Jeff
far in
Gordon
terms of
is in
sliding.
victory lane for the 40th time in his career.
Yeah, he clobbered it.
Bobby Labonte, he came home in second. Let's hear from him in the garage.
Yeah, it was a great run tonight for Bobby Labonte, Eli, and your last 3 laps may have been your best of the night.
We just had, you know, great air there last time, and Terry was helping me a lot right there at the end. I mean, if it wasn't for him, I mean, it wouldn't have happened, that's for sure. So, you know, it just a deal where you hate to see the red flag come out because you're not sure what's going to happen. But for me, it was, you know, I achieved a lot on that last 2 or 3 laps. But, you know, last weekend we went from 2nd to 6th on the last lap, and this weekend we went about 6th to 2nd on the last couple laps. So, you know, we just kind of turned around. But Terry helped me more than anything. That's what helped.
That bump drafting really looked neat on television, and it really seemed to give you that little umph and push you needed.
Yeah, I mean, that's what helped me get by those guys. I mean, we had a run on Ward off of the restart, and then we had a run on those other 4 cars there, and then they started
said
mixing
somewhere
it
that
up.
Chad's
and,
crashed
so I got the
105
outside of
Gs.
Rusty
I never
and-
heard that. That's,
one
oh
and
my
two
goodness.
there, and
It
Terry
was a
went
brutal
with me,
hit.
with me all down the back
Absolutely
straightaway.
brutal, especially in
we
the
just had good air
concrete.
because those guys were racing on the inside and 2 wide down there and slowing their cars down, and Jeff was pulling away, and I just had some good air.
Help from his brother. He comes home 2nd tonight. Bobby Labonte starting on the pole. Steve Burns.
And we're with Mike Skinner. Mike,
Skinner.
what a great show the fans got tonight.
They always get a good show here in Talladega. You know, everybody hates restrictor plate racing, and, you know, I'm not a big fan of restrictor plate racing, but what a show. Good gracious, you know. Our car was good at the start. We fell way back. The thing got extremely loose.
Hearing from a good number of drivers, aren't we?
Guys worked hard, and something popped in the rear end leaving the pits on that last deal there, and it kind of fixed itself, and it was pretty awesome there at the end. But Lowe's and MTD and all the vendors on the car has really stuck by this race team, and I really appreciate that. And we're still growing. It's our sophomore year. Can't wait till next year. I can't wait till next week. You know, this thing it's getting to where we're competitive every week, and that's awesome.
And you know something about winning at Phoenix, too.
I know how to get to victory lane there. I've never drove a Winston Cup car into victory lane, but maybe next week will be the first time. This team's really coming. It's really doing good, man. We had to back up and pull out and go around Mark Martin. He had us pinched in on that first pit stop, still come out in the top 10. That's pretty awesome. That's fast tire changing.
That is a
Those
pretty
guys
cool
are bad,
Lowe's hat,
I'm
isn't
telling
it?
All right,
I
good
like
luck.
it.
Let's go back
Chase
upstairs.
Authentics, man.
Thanks, Steve and Mike. Mike Skinner finishing 3rd here tonight, equaling his career best finish of 3rd.
Oh, look at this. You got
Posted at
time
Watkins
intervals.
Glen in the Bud at the Glen. Back to wrap it up.
And now it's raining
As
again.
rain again falls.
Sideways
in
rain
Daytona.
in Florida.
Well, the celebration continues in Victory Lane. Jeff Gordon right now talking into a microphone that is projecting his voice and picture onto the big Sony Jumbotron screens that are positioned around Daytona International. There you see the finishing numbers. Ernie Irvin's car in 8th, Ricky Craven doing
Craven
himself
did a fantastic
so very
job.
proud here
Oh, my
tonight
goodness.
as the sub driver.
Nadu gets in the top 20 because of Little Wreck. That's good.
Nemechek and Nadu hung
Take
around
something.
to finish in 19th.
Nadu.
There you see those who had some
Hillenberg.
problems earlier in the day. And those who went
That's
to the
great.
garage
They
area
do beat his whole
early
car. That's good.
in this, the Pepsi 400. Again, the
Standridge.
point lead is now 358 points. Jeff Gordon only needs to finish 37th or better in the last 3 races, no matter what Mark Martin does to clinch the championship. What a special night here at Daytona. Yes, there was some grinding going on. There was a whole lot of close action.
Oof, yeah, that's a hard hit. You're climbing out of the
Sometimes you were
car.
riding high, and sometimes the night went flat on you. But when all was said and done, the bright lights and the high speeds equaled another win for Jeff Gordon and the Rainbow Warriors.
Oh my goodness, look at that. Wow.
The doctor, Dick Berggren, Glenn
Damage
Jarrett,
to Irwin's
Steve
car.
Burns,
Holy
Mike
cow.
Hogwood, and the entire production crew from TNN Motorsports. Thanks so much for joining us here at the World Center of Racing. We'll see you next weekend from Phoenix as the NASCAR Winston Cup season rolls on. I'm Eli Gold. For all of us at TNN Motorsports, good night from Daytona Beach, Florida.
Fantastic. Well, what a race for sure. Just a thrilling battle there at the end. Jeff Gordon, well on his way to the championship, extends his point lead over Mark Martin to an extent that it was already going to be a long shot even before these back-to-back super speedways. And then Gordon almost just completely puts the championship away. As they said, he could finish outside the top 30 in the last 3 races and still win it. And win it he did, taking his, third championship on his way, in just dominating style. Him and Ray Evernham there well on their way. But plenty of drivers had a figure in that finish. Bobby Labonte completing a great season on the super speedways there, finishing in the second spot. Just a tremendous race. The first time that NASCAR ran at Daytona at night, which is now a fixture in the sport. We will now be seeing that in the current season next month. So that will about do it for the show tonight. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. It's at Last Car on Brock on Twitter, patreon.com/LastCarOnBrock for more bonus content. Feel free to check out the other videos on this channel here as well. Of course, the website is lastcar.info. We will be doing more of these. I think everybody seemed to really enjoy this. I hope you did. We're got a lot of great suggestions here for another race we could do down the line here. So stay tuned to my Twitter feed at Last Car on Brock. We'll have some updates on that when we set a date there in the meantime. So, but in the meantime, have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. And again, congrats even back in 1998 to Jeff Gordon for his tremendous win back then. So hope you enjoyed seeing it there. And I'll see you next time.